Hey, what are you looking at? It is 5:48. Never too early to dance. I'm like the Ellen DeGeneres is way more talented.
Absolutely.
That's what I do.
That's what we were all just thinking.
Oh, no, I know what you were thinking. I told you that the name of my band was going to be The Stupid and the Young, and you said, which one are you? And I don't think any way out. I just turned 59, so I'm obviously not the young. So thank you for that, Paul. Let's see.
You're welcome, man.
Did I start this whole thing yet? Good morning, I'm Dan Bonaduce. It's KZOK.
We'll go.
Okay.
Start over. I rewound.
I don't mean to be rude or anything. That's the worst rewind ever. Do you
Oh, that was pretty good.
You do? Don't you? Do you know how to rewind?
No.
Derek, do you know how to rewind a conversation? Everybody's wrong.
That was way worse.
See, wait. Isn't it like this?
No, that's the devil.
That's not the devil.
That's playing something backwards, not rewinding something.
I think that's like the little...
Playing something backwards,
Yeah.
not rewinding.
Two different things.
And what is, rewinding is having something go
No,
backwards.
he's right.
On fast forward.
He's right. It's on fast forward.
Fast
You
backwards.
don't start with me. So I'm trying to get out of here yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Around, I don't know, show ends at 9:20, 9:21 or so. I'm out the door. And I pull up to a light, and there's a car next to me. I don't think anything of it. I just kind of give it the, hey, kind of nod. I realize we're both stuck at the stupid long light. And the person gives me the sup kind of thing with the chin, way up the sup. But
that's a challenge of some sort.
It is. See, I don't love it because how do you say sup with your face? It's almost the same thing.
Yeah, but we're not at a stoplight.
And that person's dangerous and wants to fight. I already know that. So, in hoping I am wrong, I go, sup. Car starts revving its engine.
Yeah.
Like a child. It's not a child.
You have accepted the challenge.
It's their car. And they're
that's
now,
what I mean.
They don't want to fight. They want to race.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in a lane with arrows that go right.
Oh, you're going to lose. No, at that point, do you just reach over to your glove box, take your pink slip out, and hand it to him?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Then I take out my pink dress and hand it to him, too. No, I fight to the death, Paul.
All right.
So I get up. We do the sup thing. I'm sure this is going to go pulling in front of them, even though I'm not going that direction because I don't like their attitude. And then I go, what the hell? Why be a child about this? So I flip them off, and I scream filthy language. And that's when I notice it's Sarah.
Oh.
Why were you supping me?
That's a true story.
That was a true story. Every inch of it.
It was a menacing what's up.
It was because I don't know why I didn't know what was going on.
That is
but
menacing.
it was a sup, and there's a couple sups.
Yeah.
There's sup, girl.
Yeah.
Which is obnoxious, but you
one.
probably don't want to punch that person. You probably want to converse with them. The other sup is, sup, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Where are you going? Why are you dressed like that? Why are you stupid? That's what that sup is. So I supped back. We supped together. And then when I got mad and flipped off said evil driver turned out to be Sarah, and I felt foolish.
I wanted one of those switches to flip in the car where then your car kind of goes up and down on the tires.
Oh, hydraulics.
I
Yeah.
wanted one of those so bad.
See, you've got to learn the difference in sups. Do you know anything about the cars that go up and down?
Not a lot.
They're
really.
never going to go over 35. That's the point.
Oh, true.
Yeah, so I'd probably win that race. So, sup.
I would have won the cool race, though.
You would have won the cool. You looked cool. You really did. I realized you were a girl and still wanted to fight you.
He was horrified when he realized it was me.
Well, because I tell you guys, I get in these things and I act up, and I'm really sorry. I flipped off some lady. I didn't mean to. I may have called her a bad name. I didn't mean it. How the hell was I supposed to know? Like, sometimes you got to go, how much can possibly happen to Bonaduce in any given day? And they come in, and I physically attacked Sarah for saying sup to me.
Now we definitely will believe it happened 100% of the time. And there's probably more that you're hiding from us,
You know
too.
what bothers me? Remember when I got in really close to throwing blows with that guy, Joe?
Yeah.
Until I realized he was my size, skinny, and wearing pastel shorts, and I figured I got this one in the bag.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that guy. I thought we'd be besties. I remember we were in school, you'd get in a fight, and that guy'd be your new best friend.
Right. Did you exchange information at all?
He tweeted me because I'm on Tweeties.
Okay. Yeah.
And I tweeted him first in a way. I said, listen, man, if some little dude in pastel shorts tells you almost punched Danny Bonaduce in the face, that guy's telling the truth. I just met him. His name's Joe. I really like him. We're friends. So he wrote back to me, hey, Danny, I'm still apologizing, like a crazy apologizer. And I said, nothing happened. You're way over. We're stupid. We're two grown men who jumped out of cars in Queen Anne. One of us wearing pastel shorts. We just look stupid. Nothing bad happened. So why don't you stop apologizing? And then he kept talking about some step he was in and whatever he was doing. And I thought, We're not friends at all, man. I should have just smacked you on the street, and then I should just. So yesterday, that you probably know because I think I mentioned at least on Monday and then again yesterday. Yesterday was Wonton Wednesday in my house.
That's right, yeah.
Because I never get Chinese food, and it's a ripoff.
It is a ripoff.
It is a ripoff.
I'm
Well,
mad at her
life
for
ripoff.
you.
My Chinese food, lunch for two costs $21. Lunch for two at her sushi bar, $100.
Yeah.
I should go to Chinese food 11 times
Right.
for every time we have a California roll or something. So here's was our plan. Tell me that this isn't a wild plan. When your day starts, well, not starts because it starts here. When the rest of your day starts with this, oh no, honey, you have to wear loose clothing. Something needs to happen. We went on. I wrote it down. I don't know what I did with it. This Buddhist temple in what's the name of that town out there? Not Bellevue.
Ballard?
Yes. I don't know what flies on it. Ballard. And it looks like a big church that was taken over by wacky Buddhists. But I don't think it was. There's stained glass windows in this big church-looking thing. No chairs on the floors, just pillows and stuff like that. But the big giant stained glass doesn't have any saints or anything like that.
Okay.
A church, the churches that I was raised in would have saints. So maybe this was built. Maybe this is what a Buddhist temple looks like in America. And there's giant, crazy. I don't know if they're all Buddhas. Like there's a big Buddha sitting up there being all gold and shiny and Buddha, and he looks very happy and at peace because that's what those Buddhas do. But right next to him's like a couple devil Buddhas with crazy vampire teeth and bugged out green eyes. I don't know what they're about because apparently they don't tell you about the devils in level 1. But either way, as I think you can see, I have reached a state of internal peace.
News is brought to you by Johnson RV. A major industrial fire is spewing toxic smoke into the air. It shut down part of State Route 3 near Shelton last night. And they are saying now that they're concerned not about the air quality as much as the runoff from battling this fire, which is not completely out because it's spread into a tire shop and the tires are continuing to smolder.
That's not good for air quality either, burning
No.
tires.
I can't remember the city in Africa, but it was during the genocide, Rwanda and something else. And one of the worst things to do when they'd take a prisoner, and they're big on taking prisoners, they'd throw a tire around him. It would fit between his arms and his waist and then set the tire on fire.
Oh, gosh.
That happened all over Rwanda. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, yeah.
This fire broke out around 7:15, and firefighters believe it started in an RV parked next to a large tire shop. It was then fanned by winds that blew in last night. When fire crews arrived, that RV was fully engulfed in flames, and that fire had spread to the tire shop. There's a thick plume of dark smoke. They had to evacuate people throughout this area because of the air quality.
Sure.
And as I said,
Get away from that tire smoke and get into this wood smoke. I got different smoke for you.
there weren't any hydrants nearby, so they had to get truck water off site. Took them longer to battle this fire. Now, they said that initially they were telling people to evacuate because of the poor air quality, but that has, they have said you don't have to evacuate, but you are advised not to be outdoors.
Who owns the RV that started the whole thing?
They didn't identify the person's name, but it's a human, just a regular everyday person. It's not.
Yeah,
it is owned by a
somebody on
human.
vacation or somebody who lives in the
That was
RV
my
on the
question.
street.
Thank you, Paul.
We don't know that information yet.
I'm guessing not.
Who vacations next
people
to the
don't-
tire store?
Right.
Let's use some brain power to figure out what happened.
Well,
with this
so
RV.
but you can't say this conclusively. But what I think is it's one of the homeless encampments that I got to tell you, nobody was killed, right?
No, we're not entirely sure of that yet.
All right, but as far as you know, nobody
Correct.
was killed. Okay, as long as nobody was killed, in a way, there's a small part of me that's glad it happened. Everybody's so nice to everybody else. There's like a danger. There's the danger of all the garbage that we can see out our window. And there's a guy from a homeless encampment's going to trial today, I believe, for grabbing a 16-year-old and trying to drag her back in the woods. Now, This is not a homeless condition. This is a terrible condition. But much like, well, I don't need to go to this. Whatever it is, it's a really bad thing, and I think we need to make it safer. If you're going to be homeless in Seattle, which you have what a terrible movie, Homeless in Seattle. But you have, I guess, every right to be. I think we just need to make it safer somehow.
Yeah, this is Shelton. I mean, this is a pretty remote area, and I'd imagine that the person who owns the tire truck is not real happy about this. Tire shop is not happy about this situation. But the air quality here in Seattle and throughout Western Washington, they say, will be improving later today.
Yeah, they do.
But this morning, most people are experiencing the smell of smoke in addition to seeing and feeling it.
By far this morning.
And that's because we've got winds blowing in from the peninsula, and there's a fire in the Olympics. That's actually the odor that we are smelling is Washington fires, as opposed to the air quality being poor from smoke being pushed down from Canada.
So our fires smell better than the Canadian fire?
We are getting this big push of cold air coming off of the ocean that has made its way all the way through the Olympics, through the peninsula, hundreds of miles here to Seattle, where we are now smelling it.
Right.
And it's not going to blow out till this afternoon.
But just to be sure, American fires smell better than Canadians. That's what we're smelling, right? Mm-hmm. I just want to be mad at Canadians for something else, Sarah. I don't give a do out of the time. Their
fires smell
stinks.
worse.
Yeah.
They do. Ours has that smell of the ocean because it's coming off.
But it's only worth 7 portions of smoke to the American smoke.
That's right. Stupid Canada smoke. See, I'm trying to get your back there, Danny.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Also in local news, a 16-year-old boy has been hospitalized after being shot in a drive-by shooting in Skyway last night. This happened about 5:30 in the afternoon. Green Tree Apartments off 123rd Street. Deputies say that this boy was walking by the entrance of the complex when he was shot at least once. He was taken to Harborview with life-threatening injuries, and detectives are interviewing witnesses to try to figure out who and why. Arlington National Cemetery was closed yesterday due to a bomb threat. The cemetery posted a statement online on its website saying it had to close at noon. Arlington National Cemetery officials and Joint Base Meyer-Henderson Hall emergency services are currently responding to a bomb threat at the cemetery. Family, employees, visitors have all been evacuated safely. Funerals were held as scheduled, and they dispatched.
Well, until they closed, right?
This is a statement. So the funerals are all being held as scheduled, which it seems a little bit contradictory if they've evacuated. That could possibly mean that there weren't any.
None were scheduled during the evacuation.
Well, I know you have to err on the side of caution and everything like that, because I mostly don't believe any bomb threats. I always think it's a guy late for his plane, a guy that didn't study for his finals. It's stupid. That's what it is. But at a gravesite, especially Arlington, it's just headstones, American soldier hero headstones, but headstones on the like. If you just walk down the whole thing and look to the left, you'd think no bombs. And if the guy next to you and look down the headstone rows to the right, you can't really hide anything there. And if it did, unless you were standing next to it, I don't know what it would blow up. I don't think they should have caved into the terrorists. Can't kill us twice. We're Americans.
They weren't able to find anything. They did bring in a bomb-sniffing dog, and this morning it will be reopened. But what an unusual place to call in a bomb threat.
Well, it's American heroes. It's fallen American soldiers. So I get why they did a protest there. It's just an odd choice.
Prosecutors say they found a total of 8 dead bodies in the streets of the Mexican resort city of Cancun.
Oh, man.
2 bodies were dumped at 2 different spots. 4 others were found shot individually. The bodies of a man and woman were found in an abandoned taxi. There were dismembered bodies of 2 other men found in several plastic bags at another spot. They said they are concerned about the amount to be found in one day.
Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't we just take Cancun off the don't go list?
You know, it's pretty hard to keep track of. In Mexico, especially because one day you're totally cool to go somewhere, and the next day they're like,
boom,
never go there.
Next day, attack your cemetery. But I wondered when I read that article this morning, were there Americans among the dead? Because Cancun, I love Cancun, it's a great place. I don't want to stop going there, but if they're going to dismember people, that's certainly going to slow down my vacation choices. But here's the thing, the last American wasn't targeted. She was having lunch, and they were shooting at somebody else and caught her in this restaurant. So are these guys dismembering Americans?
Well, I think it's too soon to tell because they're dismembered, so we're not sure what they are. And we also haven't heard anybody's names, which could indicate a little bit more American or Mexican. They have not identified that. But as you said, the part of the problem is accidental.
Collateral,
You're next to the wrong
absolutely.
person.
Remember when that ferry boat blew up? Nobody was killed on that, but it also wasn't discriminatory. It was killed whoever's ever there.
In Cuba, their residents are one step closer to having the internet. The state telecommunications company launched a test run of a mobile network that will give ordinary citizens access to the internet. The company has previously said it would bring internet access to 5 million customers by this year, and now they are one step closer to being in the year 2018.
And, I never knew why they blocked the internet for the Cubans. Like, if they get the internet around noon, and noon 01, Paul writes out, your country just sucks. They'd write back, oh, yeah, we totally know. Could we get new car parts over here? We would just love that.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to overthrow the government just because of, you throw over the government almost always because your family's hungry. That's why you do it. And maybe your brother died in an unjust war, but you don't flip it over because you finally got free porn. As a matter of fact, you don't leave the house if you get free porn.
It's really weird to be in a country in this day and age. We're all so used to having internet constantly. My niece went to Cuba a couple of months ago and said not having internet was super weird.
Where'd she go? I'm sorry.
Cuba.
She did go to Cuba.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I went to China a couple of years ago, there's websites that are blocked.
Right.
So
Right,
tons.
yeah, lots of them.
to be told you can't go to Facebook is really strange.
And you can't go
Nope.
to, you can go to, what is it, Alakazabra or
Alibaba,
Alibaba?
Ali
Maybe.
something.
Yeah, there's Ali. You can go to Ali.
Text that word right now to 200-200 for your chance to win. KZOK.com for all the rules and details.
Police in California say they've arrested a man accused of tunnelling his way into a store for an attempted burglary.
What kind of store?
It was it's called the Inland Dairy Store, but it's more like convenience store.
The guy tunneled
Yes.
into a store to get milk.
Well, to get snacks and potentially beer.
I'm guaranteeing
eggs.
you, by the time you start tunneling and the time you get to your favorite location, you're not hungry anymore. Your knuckles hurt. You're bumming out. I can't believe this guy.
Well, this happened. Well, the dude got busted at 4 a.m. because as soon as he busted through the wall, got this tunnel going, he triggered the burglary alarm. He was found hiding from police inside the store and was arrested on suspicion of burglary. He had burglary tools. They found all sorts of stuff stashed in the store because he was hoping that they wouldn't find
Why
him.
the hell didn't he jump in his tunnel and run
Yeah,
away?
go back through the tunnel.
Well, he didn't have his Rita Hayworth poster to put up to hide the fact that he had tunneled.
And it must have been a silent alarm. He didn't know the cops were coming.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. That's entirely
Because
possible.
if a big loud alarm goes off, I'm getting back in the tunnel and taking off.
Yeah.
That's true. A woman revealed she has canceled her dream wedding just 1 week before the big day after discovering her fiance watched porn.
Really? You're gonna not get married to a guy because he watches porn?
Well, she planned this wedding for 6 months. It was her dream wedding. They'd been together for 4 years. She is a very religious person.
Ah, I see now.
And she said she is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, formerly known as Mormons. She and her fiance...
They're like Prince. The artist formerly known as Prince, these guys formerly known as Mormons.
So she said that they were out running errands and she grabbed his phone because she needed to see if a store was still open, to see if the hours, if they could pop over to this other store. And that's when she realized he had been watching porn just hours ago. So he then said, oh, no, my brother borrowed my phone. That's totally not me.
He was watching porn on his phone?
Yep.
Boy, is that an underwhelming sensation right there. They're just so tiny.
Well, he lied to her, then finally came clean and said, it's me. I have a problem. And she said she decided to call off the wedding. Partly, yes, it was that he was watching porn, but also partly that he'd been watching it for years and lying to her.
So what you're trying to say is he's a guy.
So she called off the wedding, wrote about this on a religious blog site, and now everybody in her wedding who was going to that wedding this weekend, they all know why. That's embarrassing.
Well, she wrote it. That's why they know. Right?
Yeah, she
Yes.
wanted that
Okay,
attention.
she wanted them to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now everybody knows that you called off your wedding because he's watching a whole lot of porn on his phone.
And is anybody saying anything but she's a weirdo?
Right?
I bet there are people in the church that are on her side.
I'm sure they absolutely are, especially those people that used to be called the M word, if you know what I'm saying.
Formerly known as.
Formerly known as Mormons. Now they're called Lessmans.
I don't think that's right.
Oh, sure, Paul.
If anyone is
Put in the registration.
If anyone's at all confused about this, it's because the Mormon Church has asked not to be called the Mormon Church anymore. They are asking to be called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's a mouthful.
That's what she said.
I think that's what he said.
Okay. How the hell was I supposed to know? I was drinking.
A man saw a doll inside of a parked truck
Sure.
and called police and said, "I see an unresponsive infant."
Oh.
Oh, that kind of doll. Man, your mind just goes to the dirty, doesn't it, Paul?
Mine?
A little baby doll. Little
Yeah.
doll that looks like a little baby.
Yeah.
And he sees it and says, "Oh my gosh, there's a baby in there."
Yeah, break the window.
Calls the cops.
That's what I would do.
Turns out there was a baby in the truck. The truck
It was
had.
hiding underneath the doll?
Yes.
No.
Yes. So it's in the back of the truck.
Right.
There's a doll for the
In the
little
back
baby.
seat, not the back.
Yes, in the back seat.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And turns out a woman had reported just moments ago that her pickup truck had been stolen and the 3-week-old baby that's inside was also missing. So she was taking the kids out of the truck and takes 2 of them into the house, goes back out to get the little baby out of the car seat, and somebody steals her truck.
Right out of her driveway.
Yes.
And the baby doesn't do anything to stop him? I mean, she left that baby in charge. Come on, kid.
So the guy sees the doll, calls the cops. They break open into this vehicle. They're like, "That's a doll. Oh my gosh, Becky, there is a baby next to that doll." So it turns out
That baby was using that doll as a human shield. It wasn't human.
Turns out the person who stole the truck, this has happened before, realizes there's a kid in the back seat, freaks out and abandons it.
Right.
I'm surprised that this person didn't call the cops on himself, like to report that he had stolen
there was
it.
There's a baby on 3rd and
Yeah.
Jenkins Street. Go down there and save it. Yeah, I
But
would
they
do
wound up just getting lucky that this dude called in to falsely report that the doll was a baby.
It's all very weird, but the weirdest part is that the car thief took the time to lock the doors when he got out of the car. Like,
Oh,
I'm going to
yeah,
abandon
very
this
true.
car, but I'm going to make sure it's locked so that
Well,
nobody
there's
steals.
a baby in there,
Yeah.
Paul. He's a thief, not a killer.
Wants to make sure nobody steals the baby that he already stole.
Apparently, yeah.
I think.
Because they needed to rub the lotion. Is that the baby? Does the baby rub the lotion?
I don't think so, no.
In Silence of the Lamb.
It
Who
puts
rubbed-
the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Yeah, not the baby.
There's not a baby in that
No,
sentence?
it's a full-grown lady.
No, but
Yeah.
the dog or something's not baby.
Oh.
All right.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Yeah,
That's
that's
one,
a
yeah.
good one. But they do put her in the back of the truck.
United Airlines says they are planning to offer reclining lie-flat seats on some of its Boeing 737s, making it the first U.S. carrier to do so. They are testing the seats out now in first class of the Boeing 757s, but presently, if you've ever seen those lie-flats in first class, they are on the big planes, not 737s.
Yeah, and they're crazy. I don't know how Amy and I and Dante too got upgraded coming home from Italy. We fly something a premium economy. That's how we fly. It's like $99 more, but you sit in these rows that have a little more legroom. So all cool. On the way back, they said, "Oh no, you've been upgraded." My whole family went to first class. Those bed things that
They're
fly
amazing.
all the way back, and things come up to give you a level of privacy that are just astounding.
Well, they are testing this
But
for...
my $750 ticket to Europe
Yeah.
and back, that would have been if I'd have paid for it $9,000.
Oh, first class.
they're-
If you
Yeah.
bought first class,
I'm
yeah.
not doing that.
They said on the longer leg flights, these would work, like, say, Newark to Seattle, Los Angeles to New York. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for somebody going from Chicago to Minneapolis.
Right.
But they are testing out lie flats for these inter-United States flights presently. A man was desperate to get back together with his girlfriend after she had broken up with him.
I'll bet whatever he did to get his girl back, unless someone's dead, I've done stupider stuff to get the girl back.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I could absolutely see you having done this.
I can't imagine I'm taking it the wrong way. I was an idiot, man. Come back, or I'm going to chop my fingers off.
Well, he went to a psychic and said, "Can you please post this letter to my girlfriend. Turns out it was the ex-girlfriend.
Post it to who? The spirits?
He wrote a letter and pretended to be this woman's dead mother. So the psychic gets the letter and says, she gets a letter to the girlfriend where it says, "Why did you break up with Steve? He was the greatest boyfriend. I'm up in heaven and I see you and you could be so happy if you would just get back together with Steve."
I like it. I'm Team Steve.
He pretended to be the ghost of her dead mom.
Then they made a clay pot together and said ditto. It was great fun.
So did the psychic rat him out, or how do you get found out?
The
How
way
did you get found out the girl went, my mom doesn't speak Portuguese or something?
she said she figured
Wait a
it
second,
out.
my mom's still alive.
She figured it out because there were details in the letter that she knew only Steve would know. And
Or her dead mom
her
is
dead
watching
mom.
from
Her mom's a
above.
ghost. They know everything.
It's when he signed the letter, love Steve, and then crossed it out, wrote
Your mom.
your mom,
Yeah.
your mom.
See, what I would do if I wanted my girlfriend back and she had a dead mom,
Yeah.
I would allegedly dig up said dead mom, and I'd say, "Hey, Cindy, I got your dead mom. Want her back? Tell me you love me." The way I would go, because chicks dig that.
Yeah.
the world's first beer hotel will be opening up this weekend. This is something for beer lovers called the Doghouse. It's a brewery called the Doghouse, and it's Brew Dogs, USA's Canal Winchester. Flows right off the tongue.
Yeah.
I like
So-
those guys, though. The Brewdogs from the TV show?
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, is that right? I was going to make fun of the fact that, your fancy name is the name of about 9 radio shows and a TV show. The Doghouse, the Brew House.
Yeah, these guys have been brewing beer for a long time. They did film an episode of their TV show here in Seattle.
Aren't they My Agent's TV show?
Quite possibly.
Didn't he pack? I got an agent, does nothing for me. Packages beer shows.
All right. So this is the first ever beer hotel. They said it's all beer themed, beer this, beer that. In your room, you're going to have beer. There's a brewery on site, and it's dog friendly. Get it? Because the brewery is Beer Dog,
Yeah.
and that's why it's the Dog House. And there's also a beer refrigerator in the bathroom, so you can have shower beer.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking pea share, but all right.
I have a brand new beer blog up at KZOK.com right now. I post a new one every single Thursday morning. My beer is proudly brought to you by 210 Brewing Company, Angel of the Winds Casino Resort. Thanks to them for sponsoring my beer blog. And I have something from Modern Times this week out of San Diego. It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida. Story of the day.
Yay.
A woman, DeQuasia. She's 20 years old, and she was out partying. Her phone died. Well, how's a girl supposed to call Uber if your phone dies? What do you
Hey,
do?
Uber! That's what I'd do.
Well, you knock on a stranger's door and say, "Can you call 911, please?" They call 911 for her. They arrive at the scene, and they said, "Do you have an emergency? What's going on? Are you in distress?" She said, "No, I need a ride, man." Well, they gave her a ride. You know where?
To the police station.
You got it.
There we go.
Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
I mean, I guess it is hard to get home. Where are you going to find a payphone these days?
That's true. True that.
News this morning brought to you by Johnson RV. We've got so much more to talk about this morning. In just a few minutes, we'll be back with entertainment news. What A-list actor going to rehab after his wife staged an intervention?
Hey, I already went.
An unreleased duet between two music legends have been discovered. This is a really wild story. Plus, next in sports, you can win tickets to an upcoming Mariners game. Starting with music news, it looks like a long-lost duet between Mick Jagger and Carly Simon has been found
That's weird.
45 years after it was recorded. The track is believed to be called Fragile, 1972.
Wow.
Never been heard by the public before. This was found on a tape owned by a Rolling Stones collector named Matt Lee, and it's said to feature the two of them singing a slow ballad Mick Jagger does most of the singing, and Carly Simon does harmony.
Well, that's a mistaken judgment right there.
I don't know.
She can sing. He can't really sing. He performs.
Yeah, maybe when it's a ballad, like Angie or something, then it's going to sound nice.
That's true, maybe.
But we haven't heard it. It hasn't seen the light of day, but it has surfaced. So according to Rolling Stone magazine, this dude gave it to them and said, "Can you pass this along to Carly Simon?"
I'm sorry, who's them?
The man who has it.
The collector gave it to Rolling Stone magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So this is a Rolling Stones collector named Matt Lee. He has it, and he gave it to Rolling Stone to give to Carly Simon, and then they can decide, her and Mick Jagger can decide what to do with it.
Although, if he owns it, if it makes money, he's going to make money, right?
Because he found the recording, or he bought
owns
the recording?
He bought the recording, right?
I don't know that he owns publishing rights to it just because he owns a cassette.
No,
Correct.
but he owns it, and if you want to do anything with it, you have to pay people. If I want to take your car that you own, don't I have to get your permission at the very least, or pay for it? It just seems like
yes, you'd have to
I'm
do
not
that with my
against
car.
this guy, right? I'm not against this guy making money. I think he should make money. And this song, "You're So Vain" by Carly Simon, that what people said was about Mick Jagger, one of the three. Does he sing on this record?
I don't know.
"You're So Vain." Are there any harmonies that
He
are?
does.
He does.
Yeah, it doesn't say it on the album, but it is. It is him singing on the chorus.
Which is, I think,
cool.
just super weird. So those guys must have been tight.
Yeah.
Now, this collector says, "I'm not doing this for the money. I'm a collector. My motive for sending it to Rolling Stone was just to pass it to Carly, and that we'll find out if Mick Jagger and Carly Simon have any plans to let us hear it. I'm super curious, but we have no idea what it's going to sound
Well,
like."
I all of a sudden don't like this guy.
Why?
Because he owns it. He doesn't need their permission to let us hear it. He could have just played it for us.
He could.
We don't know how he obtained it, and I think Paul brings up the good point of its publishing rights. He doesn't own the publishing rights.
No.
Right, I think he could play it, but
He could play it.
I don't think he could make tons of copies and
Right.
sell the copies without paying them.
Without paying them, but yes,
royalties.
he most certainly could make copies and sell. He owns it. They own the copyrights. He has to pay them like any other song.
Right.
Like we pay the Rolling Stones when we play them.
Right.
He has to.
I'm going to guess if Tori,
But
who
we
is-
make money.
if Tori, who is the super fan of Mick Jagger, was in possession of an unheard Mick Jagger Carly Simon track, she would probably give it to Mick and then hope that Mick would call her and tell her what he would like done
All right,
with it.
I got
Oh, so
$1,000 says
accurate.
you're wrong.
No?
No, that's not what you'd do.
What would I do?
You'd bring it here and we'd play it first, wouldn't you?
Maybe.
Okay. I
Sure,
appreciate
Danny.
your-
Yes, I would.
I appreciate your honesty. She'd bring it to the show and we would play it.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains will be playing a show here in their hometown of Seattle at a secret location on Friday to celebrate the release of their new album, Rainier Fog.
Yeah, the wife was talking all about this. She's out of her mind about this.
Well, in order to get a ticket to this special show, you'll have to find one of 10 copies of Rainier Fog that the band has hidden around Seattle. For clues that will point to the location of said CDs, you'll have to follow the band's Instagram. Now, this is almost like geocaching, Danny.
It is
so
exactly. That's what we said last night.
if anyone can figure out where these are hidden, it should be you and your wife.
No, we're terrible at it. We just do it, but 50% of the time it'll say like, "Oh, easy cash, you'll find it right away," and then we have to leave a note. When I couldn't find it, and go to the next thing. We're terrible at this game, but she would love to do this. She thinks this one's really neat, and I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's reflective to me. It's kind of my first bit ever in radio that I did on my own. I had a dozen tickets to give out on my radio show to see, I don't know, Paul Abdul or some such thing. But I physically had the tickets, and I spent 2 nights running all around Philadelphia and taping them to the bottom of phone booths. Then I would say where the phone booth was and call it live on the air. First one to pick up the phone and say, "I love you, Danny," which what I thought was funny, would win.
So if you want to figure out where these CDs are, go to Alice in Chains Instagram, try to find them, and get yourself into the top secret show.
I felt they did a secret show at the Space Needle because nobody could see them.
Now, they do have this new album coming out on Friday, and Tori will be giving us a look at all the new music in stores tomorrow. Tori's Tunes happens just after 9 o'clock every Thursday. Looking forward to that.
That's what that thing's called, Tori's Tunes.
Yeah, we haven't really officially named it, but yeah,
I
because
thought
Tori's
part of it
turntable is
was-
different.
It is?
Tori's turntables when she reviews an album that she's just in her collection and talks about it and takes pictures of a specific album.
Ah.
Two totally separate things that are living on our
So
website
one's
as well.
Tori's turntable, one's
Tori's tunes.
And what's the story, Tori?
What's the story?
What's the story, Tori?
Is that a third thing?
No, it's all the same thing.
Whatever, I love the fact that she knew Mick Jagger sang on that song. She makes her one of the many reasons she's the record expert around here.
We have never really decided to come up with a formal name for it. It's not really.
Well, I didn't know that.
We're
I
not
thought
real
we totally
formal
did. How do you introduce it every day?
I just say, "What's the story, Tori?" Like, tell us what's up.
Yeah, but it's not. It's alliteration. It's perfect. You should call it What's the Story, Tori?
Okay, so we'll have What's the Story, Tori just after 9.
Perfect.
And Tori will tell us all of the new music in stores. 2 nights, Vegas, filled with performances from some of the biggest names in music. It's our iHeartRadio Music Festival happening September 21st and 22nd at T-Mobile Arena. Names like Fleetwood Mac, Leonard Skinner, Justin Timberlake, Mariah Carey, Jack White, and more. We want to send you to the show in Vegas for free, including hotel and airfare for 2.
That's nice of us.
It is. Here's how it works. You're listening for a new keyword. You text it to 200-200 for your chance to win, and all the info is up at KZOK.com. In entertainment news, Ben Affleck is back in rehab for alcohol addiction. Sources say the tipping point that led to the intervention was Jennifer Garner seeing a photo of her husband holding a drink.
I would not have gone over that if I didn't feel like it.
You'd say it was a mocktail.
Yeah, and which it was. Matthew Perry and I used to think it was really funny. We'd go where the paparazzi were, and we'd drink out of flasks.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd go out of their minds saying we should, and they'd print all this stuff. And then finally somebody had asked me or Matt on a talk show, usually, believe it or not, me, because I'm a way better guest than I'd actually say yes. And we go, it's fun. We just do this to them. It's water. Every time we do it, you can ask the bartender we asked to fill it.
There were several photos that surfaced this week. One showed Ben Affleck meeting with a delivery man. The delivery man had a box filled with hard liquor and beer.
Wow, he goes all out when he pulls the prank like that.
Hang on. His girlfriend, a Playboy playmate, only drinks whiskey and said so. Matt has said in years past, it's beer and vodka for me.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, I'm sorry. It's a box full of whiskey and scotch. There's no vodka, there's no beer. So if he were to just say it's for my girlfriend, which in the story I read, I'd for one would have believed him. I worry about that guy. I'm not kidding. I think I can say this because he's out right now and talking about it. My wife said this. I went to rehab with him my first year. He was my roommate.
Really? Wow.
And he didn't seem to have any problem. He was felt like he should be there. His problem was gambling, he said.
This is his 3rd time in rehab for alcohol. And Jennifer Garner was the person to stage the intervention. They are estranged, not divorced, but they've been separated for several years, 3 kids together. And she wanted to make sure he got the help he needs. He said, "You're right, I need help." And he is now in a sleep-away rehab facility. So
what?
Sleep in. He doesn't go home. Some people go to day
sleep
rehab.
away. I sent my son to a sleepaway camp when he was 5, I believe. No, I know right where he is, and it's the best place for him. But I think people are picking on him more. You know, if you think you got a problem and you think you need to rehab, then my advice to you is you should go. Then totally. But even in the rehab I was in there, and the room that we shared was a small jail cell, except with comfortable beds. So he was right there in my face all the time, and he did not seem like he had problems. He seemed overly afraid. I got a pass to go to the store one day, and I came back and I said, "You are all over the cover of everything, but it doesn't say what you did. Do you really need to be here?" And he said, "Yeah," and then described his gambling habit, not his drinking habit.
Wow.
The end of the road for CBS's The Big Bang Theory has arrived.
Yay.
Really?
Yay?
Yeah, it's a stupid show.
Well, it's going to be, let's see, a record 279 episodes. It will be the longest running multi-camera comedy in history. It will wrap after its 12th season.
Man, that's a long time.
Yeah, and they made about, since they started making $1 million an episode, that comes out to $75 million a year in residuals.
Wow.
So throw on that was about 8 years altogether. I can't even figure out right now how much money those guys have.
Too much money.
At least $200 million for that guy. The one trick pony Parsons is what I like to call him. Since I made it up right now.
Let's take a look at sports.
Sports.
Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY, 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Crazy game yesterday between the Mariners and the Houston Astros. The Astros were winning and winning big, and then the Mariners' bats came alive and just not alive enough. 10-7 was the final that we lost to the Houston Astros. Derek, where are we now when it comes to standings?
Third place, 5.5 games back.
All right, still attainable. If you were at yesterday's Mariners game at Safeco Field, you need to start calling us right now, 800-252-1025. The first person to correctly tell us the song that played during Mariners KZOK Music Trivia will win tickets to an upcoming game. It's hard to miss a song. It's in lights all over the stadium. The song from yesterday's game, call us now, tell us what it is. The first person who's correct wins what, Derek?
Tickets for the game on September 8th at 7:10 p.m. versus the New York Yankees, which just happens to be Salute to Latin American Baseball Night.
Salute to Latin American Baseball Night.
That was good.
Call now, 800-252-1025.
What is salute?
Well, because I'm trying to get my salute. I thought you saluted with me last time, and then you didn't do it. I was trying to sync him up. Salute.
So you were waiting, drawing it out so that you were waiting for me to salute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you did last time, and then you left me hanging.
I'll do it next time. I'm sorry.
Sure.
You're going to have a chance to do it again. I have a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah.
Well, here we are on August 23rd, the big push towards the postseason, and Major League Baseball yesterday revealed next season's schedule. Now, we know that the season will begin officially on March 20th with a 2-game series in Tokyo against the Oakland A's, but they have announced that the Mariners will open the 2019 baseball season at their yet-to-be-determined named home park, because it will no longer be Safeco Field.
That's right.
With a 4-game series against the Boston Red Sox, which starts Thursday, March 28th. So next season in Seattle, the season starts at an unnamed stadium against the Boston Red Sox on March 28th.
Now, doesn't somebody want $180 million to do all the upkeep and stuff on Safeco Field? And aren't they petitioning right now? And aren't our representatives fighting about all that?
Yeah, so 2 different things happening with Safeco. One is that they're not going to be called Safeco anymore because Safeco said they're not going to pay for the naming rights anymore. And the other is the battle between the city and between the park for who is going to be in charge of upkeep. Presently, the city pays for it, and they said it should stay that way.
And their lease is up, and they don't want to sign a long-term lease without some commitment to put investments into the park.
That's right.
Now, I know that I know this, and the second you ask me, I go, oh, of course I knew that. You say Safeco doesn't want to pay anymore. Who the hell is Safeco?
An insurance company.
Oh, I didn't know. It's an insurance company?
Yeah, that I believe was based here and is no longer based here.
I got to tell you, I think your naming rights suck. They're right in front of my house. I can see them every day, yet I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
Ahead of Tuesday night's game against the Diamondbacks, the Angels announced outfielder and baseball legend Justin Upton would be placed on the disabled list due to a laceration on his left index finger. He, 30 years old, Justin Upton, was hanging out at home, broke his wine glass, 4 stitches on the DL.
Oh.
Whoops.
But he didn't whine at all. Took it like a man.
Now, we did learn of the sad passing of Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, we did.
And the Detroit Tigers on Tuesday played their first home game since Aretha Franklin died. Prior to the game, they put something up on the big scoreboard paying homage to her. They had a moment of silence. And on the big Jumbotron, it was her picture. It was the words "respect, forever our queen." And they had a moment of silence.
Yeah.
A rainbow appeared over the stadium.
I was thinking this was going to be a terrible thing. They had the wrong name or something like that. That's sweet.
Wrong picture. We've seen that sometimes.
Because I got to tell you, the
person.
loudest chick in show business probably wanted a moment of silence. I would think that. And then the rainbow thing is just adorable.
It was beautiful. If you look at this picture, it will seriously bring a tear to your eye. It was so, so beautiful. Seahawks preseason action continues tomorrow, 5 o'clock, Minnesota Vikings. The Sounders back in action with a match against Portland at 6:30. Congratulations to Matt in Tacoma. He was at yesterday's Mariners game, and new Mariners KZOK music trivia was Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles. And now I forget, Matt in Tacoma's going to the Jeep Winners window in our lobby to pick up what, Derek?
He is going to pick up tickets for the game on September 8th at 7:10 versus the New York Yankees, which just happens to be Salute to Latin American Baseball Night.
Salute to Latin American Baseball Night.
Don't you feel better about yourself now?
The Mariners are set to host the New York Yankees for a huge weekend series beginning Friday, September 7th. Watch Giancarlo Stanton and the Yankees slug it out with Nelson Cruz, Mitch Haniger, and the Mariners. And on the 8th, the Mariners honor the many great contributions that Latin Americans have made in baseball and wear special Marineros uniforms. Get seats while they last at mariners.com.
Thank you. That's going to be a fun one. Well, your next chance to win, well, the Mariners are off today, playing the Arizona Diamondbacks starting tomorrow with a 6:40 start time on Root Sports, which means you'll have another chance to win tomorrow morning right around this same time. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
You know, no better date or family little excursion to go but to go to Duke's Seafood and Chowder. And we can help you out with that by giving you a $100 gift card to Duke's Seafood and Chowder. All you got to do is be here at 7:20 and then put up your Dukes.
They have to fight you for it.
That's what it says. I'm reading a thing. You wrote it, you bastard. It says put up your Dukes and win.
If you missed it, in entertainment news, we told you that there is a real live Simpsons Quickie Mart that is going to be coming to the first one ever in South Carolina, of all places. And we know that Universal Studios has Harry Potter World, and it's pretty neat because it's all these things that are imaginary brought to life. So Simpsons Quickie Mart, they don't sell slushies.
Yeah.
They sell
Squishies. Yeah. And
Which is just made up.
they do have Duff beverages. They're non-alcoholic, but they do have Duff products that they're
What
selling.
what are non-alcoholic?
It's Duff energy drinks instead of Duff beer.
At the real Quickie Mart.
No, at the real Quickie Mart in The Simpsons. Well, no, wait.
You see,
At the Quickie
that's why
Mart.
I was confused with this, Paul. In the one in the cartoon, Duff's beer is beer.
Yes.
In the one that came to real life, Duff's beer is now an energy drink.
drinks, yeah.
Why can't they? Could they not get a license?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
And it depends on
But it explains my confusion.
the state, because in some states you cannot sell alcohol in like 7-Elevens.
Oh, you have to be at like a state licensed liquor store.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it depends on where the Quickie Marts are. But I mean, right now there's only one, and they're bringing stuff that's totally fictional to life, which is so fun because I know there's a lot of fictional things we do wish were real.
Yeah.
Some of them are a lot easier to bring to life, like at Harry Potter World, butterbeer. Butterbeer is totally fake and made up. Somebody had to then like go into a kitchen and say, well, this is fictional, but let's see if we can bring it to life.
And that's from Harry Potter, and they had any kind of alcohol in that. I saw them all, and I don't remember.
Non-alcoholic. It's for kids.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Butterbeer. I got it now.
Yeah, so like ginger
root beer, but yeah.
So
But-
none of the things with the word beer in it actually have beer. These guys are not trying hard enough to bring real stuff. Now, I thought about this, and I wrote down some really good ones, but one just popped into my mind. You guys may not know it. I don't know who will. But I would like the tuxedo from the movie The Tuxedo. So Jackie Chan's just this hapless kind of loser guy. I think he's actually the gardener for this big house, for this big spy. But it turns out the big spy doesn't know how to do anything. It's his tuxedo. It's full of all sort of magic. The second you put it on, you're a secret agent spy who can fight like Jackie Chan, who 2 seconds ago couldn't fight at all. I want the tuxedo from the tuxedo.
I was thinking to kind of dip into Tori's world a little bit.
Who hasn't wanted to do that at least once?
Tori, who's a big Star Trek fan. Tori, what's the thing where you stand there and you press a button and next thing you know, you're somewhere else?
The Energize
No,
transporter.
Transporter.
Beam me up, Scotty, on the. It's not called, but I get what you mean.
That thing.
Star Wars fans are going crazy right now that we can't figure this out.
Trek.
Same thing, whatever.
But
but no, we can't, man. It's bugging me now. I watch that show. It's a thing.
I
It's
know
teleportation, though, right?
teleportation.
Yeah,
I
I
want to
want
put
that
my
too.
phaser on stun then, and I want to shoot Paul till somebody finds out what those things are called.
Well, there's a real live Simpsons Quickie Mart. Harry Potter World sells butter beer. What is something fictional you wish was real? Call us now and tell us what you think. 800-252-1025 or text in 90627 now.
Oh, okay, it may sound crazy, but the Simpsons have a real live quickie mark. Now, Harry Potter World at Universal, they're selling butterbeer. The question to you out there is, what is something fictional that you would really like to make real? It's 1-800-252-1025, or you can text us to 90627.
Now, you've talked about, Danny, wanting those lace-up shoes from Back to the Future.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so sometimes this fictional stuff they really try to make real, and sometimes it's just too hard.
Right. Those things, they make 5 pairs and they were $1,800 a piece or something like that.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't really work. You know, sometimes the stuff that's fictional is easy to make, like a Quickie Mart from The Simpsons, and sometimes it's pretty darn hard.
Although I am wearing a pair of shoes that I saw on TV and I thought, well, that's fake. Actually, I'm not wearing them right now, but you can't see my feet, so shut up. They're really expensive, like tennis shoes. They appear to be lace-up tennis shoes, but the way they're constructed, I just step into them and the back snap back up. That's amazing to me that somebody made that. So then I think they can make the other one I want, which is all things Batman. I want the suit. I want the utility belt. I want the car. I want Alfred. I don't know why, but he's cute. But I want all things Batman.
What is something fictional that you wish was real? 800-252-1025. Good morning, Drama in Renton.
Yo, Drama.
Good morning, y'all.
What's up, man?
Hey, this is the best ever.
Okay.
Imagine the possibilities. The reflective armor suit the Predator has that it can bend light.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Oh, okay.
Because you're kind of invisible.
You're real invisible because what you're doing is you're reflecting everything around you that isn't you. But it's much like, and I'm going to take this again as long as we did the Harry Potter thing, I want the cloak of invisibility.
Yeah.
Wrap that puppy around, you go right into the ladies' showers.
Oh.
Or whatever you do.
That
I don't
just
know
went
what you would do.
somewhere
I
creepy.
wouldn't do that. Paul would.
Something fictional you wish was real. 800-252-1025. Don in Puyallup, hello.
Hello. The Wizards of the Coast has a couple of book series out, Dragonlance series and The Legend of Driz.
I think I may have read The Legend of Jizz just recently.
Yeah, that's been out for a very long time, but yeah, those two realms are pretty awesome.
So now, just asking, Don, because I love you, what time do you have to get back to your Dungeons and Dragons game?
Oh, usually I go on Tuesdays at 5 at the South Hill Mall.
Thank you. I just asked my boy last night if he thought I was kidding you, and I appreciate your straight answer, Don. Amy and I are looking for stuff to do, and we said, my son thinks that Dungeons and Dragons is super fun. It's just him playing with his buddies. So I said, teach me how to play so I can play with my wife. And he said, you're crazy. Don't do it. You're old and you're stupid. Thanks, son. But so I'm digging you, Don. Thank you.
Something fictional you wish was real. That's what we're asking at 800-252-1025. When my nieces went to Harry Potter World at Universal, they had all the different kinds of butterbeer because it's all for kids, just like in Harry Potter.
Do you know they have a bar there about 20 feet away from where you're talking about? A real full-on bar, cocktails and everything.
Well, the adults need to do something.
Yeah, but I didn't know they had that in a park. The last time I went there, and it was years ago, but several times, oh my God, that's a bar.
Yeah, my brother and sister had a lot of fun, but the kids thought it was great. One of the fake, fictional things they got to do was they got to go into the wand shop, and they had a wand selection, and my niece was picked and got to have the wand selected for her, and now she has a wand. Like, they made all this stuff from Harry Potter real, which is just fun.
But can't you, and it doesn't take anything away from the one that your niece got? Mm-hmm. Your niece got? Isn't there 1,000 wands in the gift shop for $7.99?
No, and it's totally different. And it was the whole experience recreated.
Right, no, I saw the movie. I saw the movie. She's got the hat, and the thing's picked, the wand picks her.
Yep.
I'm just saying, if the hat doesn't pick you, there's a gift shop with 1,000 wands in it, some of which that light up.
At more like $49.99.
Is that right? Yeah, you're right. I was right. The second I said it, I realized I was low. Thank you.
That place set them back a pretty penny, let me tell you.
Oh, my God. Amy and I went to Disneyland for 2 days, $600. I mean, the hotel and everything.
Yeah, put another 0 on there for a week at Universal.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Sammy in West Seattle, what is something fictional you wish was real?
If I could make one thing real that was fiction, it would be the replicators from Star Trek.
All right, see, now I'm confused. Which one's the replicator?
The replicator, the thing that makes food.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were talking about that, I think, with the movie Sleeper, that they all take pills, and this pill tastes just like a roast turkey, and you get full on it and things like that.
Yeah.
But and I just want to make sure I'm not stealing from anybody because this is a good one. How about we'll stay with, I think, Star Trek, the holodeck.
Yeah.
Where once you go inside this big, gigantic, it's anything you want to be. You're at the mall, you're at a brothel, you're at a racetrack, whatever it is, and you can't tell it's not 100% real. I would do the holodeck. I'm assuming Tori would do the holodeck. That's a good one.
Tori, what is something that you that is fictional that you wish was real?
I was gonna go with jackalopes. You know,
Because you want one in your freezer.
I want one, but it'd be funny to see them fight too. You know, little bunnies like headbutting each other.
But said little bunnies have giant antlers, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
So you want them to gore each other to death.
a little bit.
Wow. And by the way, some of us still think jackalopes are real.
Oh, sorry.
I've
one,
seen
one of
one.
us does. Yeah.
I have seen one. My
Mounted,
favorite
though, right?
shop. Yes, it was
Stuffed and
mounted.
mounted, yeah.
You can't catch those things alive.
Right.
And at this store in New Mexico that we love, it is actually called the jackalope. You can't call
Yeah.
your store after something that's not real.
So teddy bears, also real life animal? Because I've seen one of those stuffed before.
Was it in a store called Teddy Bears?
He's got you.
Maybe. Yeah, Build-A-Bear.
He's got me. Okay, you're right. I could be wrong about the jackalope, Paul.
Rob in Louisville, something fictional you wish was real?
Hey guys, good morning.
Morning.
Well, I love her to death, and I'm gonna be in the doghouse when I get home. But I'm gonna have to go with the perfect wife.
So you're under the impression the perfect wife doesn't exist?
It's fictional.
Do you know why you
That's it.
feel that way? And I don't mean to be rude because you're the guy that called the show, not her. So I don't even like her anymore there, Rob. But I would say this. Are you a perfect husband?
No, I'm not.
All right, if you were a perfect husband, I'll bet she'd be a perfect wife.
Along the same lines of the perfect wife, Andy and Kent texted in and said a politician that has our best interests at heart is what he
Something-
wished was real.
something
fictional
fictional.
thing that he wishes was real.
Yep.
I got to go Bernie on that guy. He's an idiot and wants things we can't afford, but he's got our interests. I
Dave
think.
and Everett, something fictional you wish was real?
Good morning, you people.
What do you mean, you people?
I'm about the same age as Danny, and I remember a show in the 60s called The Time Tunnel. I would love to have a time machine, be able to go back in time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I want mine to be the DeLorean.
Yeah, but here's what you think. Here's what I kind of want. I want to go back to before gone, like the Roman Empire. Well, that seems like the best time. But I do want to take several Uzis with me, because one guy with two Uzis is now the new king of Rome. They can't fight you.
Paul, what is something fictional you wish was real?
A lot of people also texted in things from Willy Wonka, like the Chocolate River or the Everlasting Gobstopper, but I would like the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Oh, totally true.
Yeah, 'cause
totally true.
Add that to my flock of ducks and chickens, I think I would be doing pretty well.
Oh, then I want an Oompa Loompa, but the hot one.
Pretty
you ever
sure
seen
you've
the
had a
hot Oompa
couple of those,
Loompa?
Danny.
Just looking at him right now.
Westworld.
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 Hell
You got to
no.
go into Westworld. You can shoot it out with people.
Kill each other.
No, you don't kill people. You kill robots.
Robots, yeah.
But
Spoiler
spoiler
alert.
alert.
Well, then they go crazy.
Well, we won't do that
We
part.
won't do that part. I want
Derek,
to get bit by the rattlesnake that turns out not to be real, and you don't die because Josh Brolin looked panic stricken.
Derek, what is something fictional you wish was real?
Staying with Willy Wonka, I want the soda that never goes flat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
But
I
you
like
know
that
who's
one.
crazy? Tori prefers her soda flat.
Sacrilege. That's why she hides pets in her freezer. She's
So
just
weird.
not right.
Only if she has this excuse. Is that because you like to chug it and can't chug it with the bubbles?
Well, no, but when you chug it with bubbles, it kind of feels weird.
Right. Then it makes you fart, and nothing would make me laugh harder than Tori just walking around. Wow, you're awful pretty. Wow, your makeup looks great today. Star Trek, rock and roll.
Yeah.
On that note, it's time to play Put Up Your Dukes.
Put up your dukes.
This is your chance to win a $100 gift card to Duke's Seafood and Chowder, voted best restaurant and best 2.5 KZOK, where we are playing Put Up Your Dukes. This is your chance to win a $100 gift card to Duke's Seafood and Chowder. Yum. Now, we know that Danny would fight any Osmond, a mountain lion, and most baby animals. In order for you to win, you have to tell us who Danny is challenging this time to put up their dukes. Our contestant is Tony in Bellevue.
Hey, Tony, let me ask you this. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I sure do.
And do you understand the rules of the game?
I do.
Then let's put up our dukes. Here we go. Put up your dukes if you are this messy yet lovable cartoon Great Dane owned by the Winslow family. The doggone funny exploits were chronicled in the newspaper comic strip by the same name, drawn by Brad Anderson from 1954 to 2015. Can you tell us what cartoon dog do I want to put up their dukes?
It's got to be Marmaduke.
It's got to be Marmaduke. It's got to be Marmaduke.
That is correct, Tony. Wow, that was a really hard one. You are going to the cheap winners window in our lobby because you have won a $100 gift card to Duke's Seafood and Chowder. Duke's knows seafood with happy hour daily from 3 till 6 and 9 till close. You guys have another chance to win tomorrow at 7:20. And up next is the big news of the day.
And the big news of the day is brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE, or you can go online to goldbergjones.com.
A lot of people this week talking about Iran and how they have unveiled their new domestically produced fighter jet. Well, military experts took a look at this picture and said, pretty sure that's a U.S.-made F-5 that we built back in the 1970s.
So did they, what is that called, re-engineer it, reverse engineer it?
Oh, maybe.
Did they
Or did
reverse
they-
engineer it, or did they shoot one down and rebuild it?
Spray paint it.
They claim that this is a fighter jet designed and manufactured solely by Iranian military experts. Now, U.S. experts are looking at photographs and saying that there's no way that they made this. There's zero way that this is all designed and manufactured solely by Iranian military experts. Shenanigans.
Right, so where'd they get it? If they didn't build it, where did they get an F-5?
I know back in the way olden days, before things got really bad, we gave tons of stuff to other countries.
Yeah, tons.
We supplied
Weapons.
Afghanistan with tons of stuff.
I always wondered about this, to be honest with you. I'm sure they'd go looking for it. But there should be a little bomb in every fighter jet we sell to any other country, even if they're our best friends. What the hell? Who knows what's going to happen? You know, there should just be a thing that we can just press that will just blow up any fighter jet we ever sold to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, back in the early 70s, my mother-in-law was a flight attendant for Pan Am and Delta. She went to Iran and said it was beautiful.
And it looks beautiful.
People were super nice. And then things towards the end of the 70s, things completely shifted, different ruler. We had battles with them, so maybe we gave it to them.
Maybe.
But either
that
way,
makes sense.
Nah.
Shenanigans, and we'll shoot it down and don't bother us. Their military experts are just basically silly.
IBM has done something pretty spectacular.
Well, we all BM, Sarah.
Oh.
Well, I don't know why she was bothering to say it.
IBM has secured a
Trying to
patent
deflect.
for a coffee drone that flies around public spaces delivering cups of coffee,
Well, you should be.
but will also predict when people need a caffeine pick-me-up. According to paperwork filed with the U.S. Patent and Trade... Will you stop laughing?
Yeah, Paul,
sorry.
what is wrong with you?
I tried so hard not to.
Terrible person.
According to paperwork filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the device could be used in an office, a cafe, an event setting, and a pre-ordered cup of coffee would be delivered to the drinker. They'd use facial or voice recognition software, an electronic ID tag or Bluetooth, and they can also monitor via technology that you're wearing on your wrist, Danny.
Yeah, which I'm a fan of all this kind of stuff. The technology. I'm not a fan of this because it's
Drone
not
coffee?
efficient. It's not efficient, really.
They're going to
If-
spill, right?
If there's a thing that tells you I'm tired,
Yeah.
why are you going to send me a piping hot cup of breath that I have to drink ever so slowly? Why aren't you handing me 4 milligrams of methamphetamine?
Yeah, if it's
I
on
wa-
your wrist,
I
why
wa-
isn't it just auto-injecting whatever you need, caffeine or whatever?
Exactly. The problem with that in tests, monkeys killed themselves.
Okay.
Monkeys had a choice to inject themselves with drugs, cocaine the first year, and meth, I think, recently, or get food, and they just stabbed themselves to death with the needle. So I don't know that it's in our best interest to stab ourselves with meth, but I think, why coffee? Why not something a little bit stronger, if you know what I'm saying?
It's probably the wave of the future.
Yeah.
Big news for anyone who would rather eat their cookies unbaked. Ben & Jerry's presently testing edible cookie dough that are just bags of cookie dough as opposed to in ice cream.
Yeah.
and as opposed to something you're supposed to slice up and put in the oven and bake.
I really like it. I would have to say that I've bought 3, 4, maybe even 500 tubes of Pillsbury cookies, sugar cookies, and chocolate chip. I have never cooked one of them. You slice it, and then you squeeze it like toothpaste into your mouth, and it should last an hour or two, and you eat the whole thing, and it's yummy.
And it's just the raw eggs. That's the only reason that it's not good for you?
Right.
I don't know. I see. I never actually heard that. I mean, I guess I've heard it since. But
they say don't eat it because of the raw eggs.
It's yummy. Don't listen to them. They don't know anything.
So these guys just figured out how to leave the eggs out?
They figured out how to pasteurize the eggs so that there's no potential for salmonella. And that is exactly what the hurdle has been. And they have figured it out because it's in their ice cream. So it's been in their ice cream for a long time.
Right, yeah.
But now this would be like a little package, almost like...
I buy cookie dough ice cream, and it has cookie
good,
dough.
Right. So this would be a little package, almost like potato chips. It's sealed, and you open it up, and inside, delicious, unbaked cookie dough.
Yeah, okay, I'm totally down with this thing. I mean, I watch my girlish figure, so I'm not going to chug the whole bag, but I like this.
You guys remember the lip sync videos that the police were doing?
Yeah.
The first one really kind of got people talking about it was the Bruno Mars. Then the SPD did a great one to Macklemore's Downtown. Now a California police department has done a pretty special lip sync video. This is the Fontana Police Department, and they got the challenge, and they said, who do we know who's famous from Fontana? That would be Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, okay, I knew it was somebody.
I Can't Drive 55, and Sammy Hagar gave permission and makes an appearance in the video.
See, I love it.
Awesome.
When good sportsmanship goes on, I love that stuff. I think that's really fun. Although I'm not going to Fontana to do anything. You go to Stupidville and turn left till you get to Fontana.
And Forbes this week revealed their annual list of the highest paid actors for 2018. And the person at number 1 might surprise you, because I'm pretty sure we haven't seen much of him on the big or the small screen recently.
Okay, so when I guess The Rock, I'm obviously totally wrong.
Well, that's who it should be. He's all over everywhere.
He's everything, and he was the highest paid everything last year. Highest paid bald dude, highest paid big dude.
It is not The Rock. It is George Clooney.
That's super weird because you're right. All I've seen of him lately is crashing motorcycles.
But highest paid not for acting. He just happens to be an actor, but he made his money elsewhere?
Yeah, his profession is an actor. But they do always take into consideration your endorsements and therefore your other sources of income. And for him, it's still that Casamigos tequila.
Yeah. Which he sold for $1 billion from what I heard.
$700 up front with the potential for an extra $300 million spread out over the next decade.
Wow.
Now, his estimated worth is $233 million. That's his earnings.
That's his earnings, not his net worth.
That's how much he earned last year.
$233 million pre-tax dollars.
Oh, I want to make pre-tax dollars. How do I make pre-tax dollars?
So his career, it's always done pre-tax. So your earnings, he earned for the year $239 million.
Cool, you go, George Clooney. And I like the guy, so I'm not as bitterly jealous as I could be.
The Rock did come in at number 2.
Oh, nice.
$124 million.
Maybe you should just go over and just beat the bejesus out of George Clooney and be number 1 again.
Yeah, they said he is doing very, very well.
And he's I don't know why you do crap movies on the downhill of your career. He couldn't be a bigger star, and he's doing the stupid movie with the white gorilla that nobody went to see.
Yeah,
I mean, he's doing some real crap these days. I'll do Jumanji. I watched on a plane. It was actually fairly funny.
Yeah.
Good news, bad news for the film Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
It has been a blockbuster success. A smash, if you'll say. So much so that they have already decided to make a sequel. So Crazy Rich Asians already on its way to a sequel. That's the good news.
Yeah.
The bad news. The dude who wrote it, Kevin Kwan, he is learning the downside to fame and fortune. So this is the dude who wrote the book Crazy Rich Asians. Turns out he may be facing fines and or imprisonment for not completing his national service obligations in Singapore. He never did his duty for his nation, and they said he failed to register, and therefore, really, you're laughing at duty?
No, we're
This
doing
is like poop jokes all morning.
We're laughing at doing your duty for your nation. What a weird thing to get a medal for. What's that for? Oh, wow, it's a Purple Heart. What's that for? Oh, I pooped for my country.
We're laughing at our inability to not laugh.
Yeah.
So he moved to America at a young age, however, never renounced his Singapore citizenship. Therefore, you are required to do your duty.
You gotta do it.
Sure.
So now
It's like a weird thing.
Most days.
he could go to jail for not.
Which
Doing
makes
it.
it's really
country.
embarrassing. You ever been to jail? I don't think you have. There's a big silver toilet in the middle of the room for everybody to look at you. So when that poor bastard has to do his duty, they're going to say, hey, aren't you the guy from Crazy Rich Asians doing your duty right there?
When you said there's a big silver toilet, it almost sounded like a reward. Like,
No,
it's like
yeah,
a gold
a big
toilet.
stainless steel. That's what I meant.
That's the big news of the day. It is brought to you by Goldberg Jones. Divorce for Men. 1-800-DIVORCE or online, goldbergjones.com.
If you'd wonder, hey, could there possibly be more? And the answer is yes, coming right up at Sarah's Filthy Forecast.
It's Sarah with your filthy forecast. Oh, just 71 expected for the high today, but summer weather coming this weekend, which is a good thing because Saturday brings us National Banana Split Day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, you should hear what my neighbor Vanessa has planned. It involves bananas and splits.
Ooh.
Sunday is National Cherry Popsicle Day.
Oh, you won't be there.
That's a creative ways to stay cool in the summer. The heat continues to rise. I know you like to see it get a good rise. A grower or a shower? A shower? I'll tell you what's in store. Join me next time with the best weather front in Seattle. I'm Sarah.
But I think I go with grower.
Yeah.
Is that the safe one?
Yeah.
Is that the, hey, I know it doesn't look like much, but you just wait.
Right, because even if it does, then it's even more impressive.
But also, it's too late. If she's sitting there watching that happen, something good's going my
We're
way.
talking about rain, right?
Yeah,
Oh, sure we
absolutely.
are. Are you kidding
100%.
me? Hey, that was Sarah's Philly Forecast, and there's more going on. Check this out. Tomorrow morning, right around this time, 7:50, if you can tell us where Sarah's Beaver's been, you can win a pair of tickets to the Vets Aid concerts, and that's with Joe Walsh and Don Henley at the Tacoma Dome. You know, it's a couple of minutes after 8 o'clock in the morning. You could be thinking, what have you done for me lately? Well, I'll tell you, we got a music festival you don't want to miss. Some of the biggest names in music, they're going to take the stage for our iHeartRadio Music Festival. That's happening September 21st and 22nd. And we would like to send you to Las Vegas to see the show on
Vegas,
us.
baby.
No!
Every time.
Oh, man. Hey, all you got to do is listen for the keyword and then text that to 200-200 for your shot at winning this trip. 4-2, by the way. Your next chance to win happens in less than 10 minutes.
Nice. Well, the weekend is right around the corner because today's Thursday.
You mean the rapper?
No, it's Thursday, which means the
I
weekend
know what that means.
is right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Okay.
And
I felt left out because I couldn't figure out what it meant.
guess what my husband's doing?
Saying that he's going camping with his boss.
He's going camping with his boss.
That's almost as that.
They try to go once a year, and I love his boss. His boss, Darren, is fantastic.
He loves his boss.
Great dude.
Did you ever see Brokeback Mountain?
Danny!
Just ask. It's a great movie. Hey, Paul, I just always want
In
to
a
tell
totally
you this.
unrelated
I
thing.
just
You're
can't
off
quit
topic.
you. I don't know.
Well, you told us the other day that you were drinking with your boss all the time.
All the
You'd be
time.
getting wasted with him.
On the air.
All the time. On the air, off the air, promotions couldn't get too weird if either one of us ended up throwing up at the appearance. That was funny, and
That's
that would be
crazy.
the next day's radio show. Was the boss or Danny? Oh, you should have seen him there ralphing like crazy. It was gross. They got it all over him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and that guy is the godfather to my daughter. Larry
Oh, wow.
Wirt. Well, I shouldn't have said his first and last name.
Well, I
Barry
mean,
Nert.
That's his name?
Well, it was Larry Wirt, but I don't want to say it, so I'm making it.
it's safe to say that
Very
Matt has an unconventional relationship with his boss because they're good friends and they go out for beers, they go camping, they do stuff together.
Nothing says good friends to me like sharing a tent.
But you, I mean, to ask the question, have you ever had an unconventional relationship with a boss? I mean, you did. The fact that what you just told us, that you drank on the air. With your boss, who was essentially breaking the rules.
People would call us up when it got too drunk and too weird. Listeners would call and say, "You guys aren't funny. It's sad."
Oh
my God.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was awful, but cemented me in radio, really.
Did he wind up in rehab as well?
No, he winded up the president of NBC. he did just fine.
You guys listening, have you ever had an unconventional relationship with a boss? Tell us about it. Call 800-252-1025 or text in 90627.
Let me ask you something. And that is, Sarah's lovely husband, Matt. We all know him. He's a super nice guy. He's planning another camping trip with his boss. And Sarah, sure, I want to approve. And it's not that I don't approve. I just question what's really happening in her life. And then on the other hand, I used to drink with my boss on the radio. And we actually had us around the ground. That was an unconventional relationship with a boss. If you've ever had an unconventional relationship with a boss, we would love to hear from you right now. 1-800-252-1025, or you can text to 90627.
When we were at the Chandler's Crab House the other day for your live birthday broadcast, our boss came over and was like pestering me. And so finally I just yelled at him. You, Danny, were horrified. Yeah. Horrified because I yelled at the boss. You're like,
well, it was also the way you yelled at the boss. It wasn't just, hey, we don't ever play enough of these records. That seems like an okay thing to say and maybe too much. But you kind of like, here's what happened. All right, yell at me for a second, Paul, and I'll be Carrie.
Danny, what are you doing? This is insane, Danny. You got to stop it.
Well, I guess I got yelled at, and he walks away. That's what happened to our boss.
Really?
But that's the relationship I have with the captain.
No, it's not.
I can just yell at him, and he can yell at me, and then we laugh, and we go for a walk and talk about other people. It's true.
Is that true? Okay, because I was going to go, no.
And does he know that you have that relationship, or is he just like frightened?
Does he know that you now know that we know that you talk about all the other people when you're with our boss?
So we're like, okay, so let's go talk about Paul and what a jerk he is. And then
everybody knows that. That's not a secret. I don't know why you have to leave the room to talk about it.
The boss.
No, but there are some bosses that you would never, ever raise a voice to, no matter how angry you got, or you would just yes them to death. But Carrie's a radio guy. He knows all of us really well, and he knows how it works. And, I yelled at him, and he thought it was funny. And that's why he's like, oh, I just got yelled at. And walked away, and later on we laughed about it.
Did you see it happen?
I did not, no,
okay.
Unfortunately.
Because I did other employees.
Yeah, well, no, we talked about it later on, and he called me a whole bunch of names, and we laughed. It's just unconventional relationships you have with your boss.
8% of this.
That is certainly an unconventional relationship.
Yeah, so at the very least. No matter how it works out, you yelling at your boss, unconventional, him laughing and walking away in front of everybody, and then you two going for walks holding hands. If you were any closer, you'd be your husband's boss.
800-252-1025. We're asking if you've ever had an unconventional relationship with a boss.
Edwina from Auburn texted in. She was roommates with the boss.
Oh, weird.
That's weird.
That's different. Roger in Arlington also texted in. His wife's boss sponsors and works on his race car that he races at the Evergreen Speedway.
Oh,
that's kind of
awesome.
a cool thing. Yeah.
That's kind of a very cool thing. I got, and it's funny because this wasn't my boss. This was a sober young man starting out his world as program director in Philadelphia. And I was on the air with another guy's radio show. It wasn't even my radio show. And they said, oh, he just went to the airport to pick up Leonard Skinner. I said, it's a little weird to go to the airport to pick up Leonard Skinner. Didn't they all die in a plane crash? And I went on and on and on about this, thinking I was so wacky and funny. It was 1988, 1989. I see my boss in the hallway, and before I say anything, he goes, come here, like that. And I went, okay. He was a few years younger than I was, but really big. So I walked up to him having no idea, and he smacked me right in the face the second I got there. Like a real fight.
Really?
You wait and talk. You hit somebody.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't believe it. And he goes, Leonard Skinner was in my car when you said that. And I said, in the trunk or in the ashtray? And he kind of tried hard not to laugh. And by the way, Leonard Skinner, the surviving members, and they're kind of the crucial members, are coming to our live show. So apparently they survived and are still a draw because I can even play Sweet Home Alabama on the guitar.
I think a lot of people in radio have had unconventional relationships with bosses. I mean, we had a boss in Philadelphia who we called to his face Jeffy Pants.
Yeah.
And then one time you guys took off your clothes and went into the ocean for the polar plunge.
I didn't think that was unconventional. I thought that was mean. He was the boss and I didn't want to do it, and he wanted to do
Did
it.
he force you to get in that freezing cold water?
It totally forced me to.
Let's talk to David and Bothell talking about having an unconventional relationship with a boss.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's all good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. So my boss and I just started working together as partners, and both in crummy relationships. And one thing led to another, and then it led to another and another, and we've been married for almost 10 years now.
That is unconventional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that certainly is.
Married the boss.
It was the third led to another that
Yeah, that's
HR
right.
came in and said, you guys have to get married, otherwise one of you is going to be fired.
Anybody ever sleep with their boss?
No.
Yeah, me either. But remember our friend Gibbons?
Yeah.
He did. And that particular boss was kind of a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, and that boss went to HR to find out if it was okay to sleep with her subordinates and was told it was.
I don't like much about that girl, but I like that. She marched into HR and said, I would like to have sex with like 3 of the young men that work with me. Is that cool? And they said, they looked through a pamphlet or some such thing and went, yeah, you can do that.
Crazy.
And then she did.
Yep. And then some more and some more on top of that.
There was literally some on top of that, remember?
Have you ever had an unconventional relationship with a boss? Let's hear from Meg in Historic Kent.
Hiya, Meg.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
We're good. Thank you for asking. What do you got for us?
Well, I've got a gentleman I've worked for since 1987, and he's like a dad to me.
Is he your dad?
He's like my dad.
That's an
Treat each
unconventional
other.
relationship.
Does he ever spank you when you're bad?
Danny!
What?
No,
I don't
no.
know. I don't know how her dad raised her. I don't know what she's hip to.
And Paul, have you
Thank
had
you,
an
Meg. I really appreciate you playing along.
unconventional relationship with the boss other than the captain? Because I know you've got one too.
I mean, I've been friends with bosses, or at least friendly with bosses, but I had this one boss who just really wanted to be friendly or friends with everyone in the office and like wanted to spend time with them outside of the office in kind of a weird, creepy way. He would just ask people like, what are you doing this weekend? And I would say, I'm going to my niece's high school graduation. Oh, do you have an extra ticket?
Oh,
like,
weird.
He just wanted to do stuff with people that wasn't anything that, it's okay. Like, hey, I heard you guys are going to have a beer after work. You mind if I tag along? That's okay. But like, hey, can I come to your family reunion? That's super weird.
That does seem odd at the very least.
I do find the partying with your boss a little bit odd. And that brings us full circle because that's what, Danny, you're first.
Yeah, my friend, I didn't want to say his real name, but it rhymes with Larry Wirt. But he ended up the president. The man is a captain of India. He's like a bazillionaire now. He's the head of NBC.
By the way, the captain, our boss, just texted me and asked if you would go camping with him this weekend.
Yeah, but see, I would know what I was getting into. I'd say,
Won't you be my Huckleberry?
I would
whatever
just
it
say,
is.
oh man, how
It's not a
bad can
different
this
movie.
be? And I would, I'd get home to my wife and say, oh man, you wouldn't believe what happened under the tent with the boss, but I think I got a raise, at least out of him.
We've got a couple of more texts. This person says, my boss is in her 60s and brings me in her hand-me-downs from her closet. I'm in my 30s.
Oh, whoa, that's not cool.
It's not?
No.
How do you know that I'm in my 60s? Look how awesome I am.
Yeah, maybe they have the same style.
I'm 59.
First of all, you're not in your 60s.
I'm 59. It's close enough.
Imagine if you started bringing in your hand-me-downs to Derek.
Hey, Derek, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What do you think of this shirt?
It's pretty stupid.
Not where I was going with that one.
Rachel texted in. She says, I once took my boss to a sex shop in New York City because she was too shy to go in on her own.
Okay, that's unconventional.
I like it.
And Rhonda from Covington, my boss was my dealer in the 80s until she embezzled 20 grand from the company and tried to pin the drug issue on me.
Winner.
Yeah, winner, chicken dinner.
Thanks for the calls and texts, friends. We'll be right back with the news. News is brought to you by Johnson RV. Troopers are investigating a possible abduction of 3 people, including a child. This is at Heritage Park in Olympia. Witnesses called police last night reporting that 5 or 6 men dressed in white plastic jumpsuits and hoods jumped out of a red Ford pickup, grabbed 3 people, put them in zip ties, and then one of the victims yelled, "Someone call 911," and the truck sped away. Now, witnesses said one of the victims looked to be a young girl around 4 to 6 years old. Troopers searched the area and came up empty, but did find surveillance video of the truck that matched the description. And they said, "We are treating this as an abduction until we can confirm otherwise. If you have any information, call Washington State Patrol."
Now, that's weird. Don't you think? Don't they? I'm going to consider it an abduction until you talk me out of it. Isn't it normally? I don't know what it is, but we're going to investigate until we realize it's an abduction. Something sounds wrong with that. And the hazmat suits, something is not as it appears in
Well,
this.
they're saying, it could be a prank.
Yeah.
They know they'll treat it as an abduction until they're proven wrong. That, of course, if it's a child, you're going to investigate.
Right.
Until, somebody says this was a hoax or they find them or...
Yeah, it makes me nervous, but yeah, it is definitely, I'll be safe in saying it's not as it appears.
It's definitely weird, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
A man has been wounded by a sheriff's SWAT team member in Shoreline this morning. The King County Sheriff's deputies and SWAT members were called to a home on 16th Avenue Northeast to serve a warrant. 4:30 in the morning, they say something led to one of the SWAT team members opening fire. The man was wounded. Investigators have not released his condition. No deputies were injured, and they said more information will be revealed soon.
A lot of when I ask you questions, if you knew the answer, if it was in there, you'd have just probably said it. So it's rhetorical. Did the guy who got shot have a gun?
Don't know.
It's a SWAT team, man. Something should have happened to make the SWAT team go.
Yeah, exactly. A 16-year-old boy is hospitalized after being shot in a drive-by shooting in Skyway last night. Now, he was taken to Harborview with life-threatening injuries, and they are still trying to find witnesses. They said they believe the suspects fled in a white SUV, which is pretty vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Wait, I have one of those. That's what I drive.
Yeah.
Yep, you do. And a fire broke out next to a tire warehouse in Shelton. Firefighters are encouraging citizens to continue avoiding the area due to potentially toxic fumes. The fire was next to a tire store, and the tires are what caught fire, and that, of course, releases a lot of toxic
Super blast, but when
chemicals.
you see fights between rebels and governments, they block off whole sorts of streets with burning tires, and it poisons the air. You can't see through it. It's a nasty thing, and we don't need more nasty stuff in the sky right now.
No.
Although we look out from here, if you crane your neck just right, like Sarah said, you can in fact see the Space Needle, and it seems like it's starting to clear up. I don't want to jump in on the weather, but it looks like the winds are coming in and maybe clearing up.
Yeah, today's supposed to be the day that we start to see some clearing.
A lot of people have been talking about pets and how they have been faring in this terrible weather. A lot of dogs, especially because they go outdoors, have been suffering ill effects from the smoky air. But a lot of people have been talking about Mishka, who is the young female sea otter at the Seattle Aquarium.
Mm-hmm. I've met Mishka.
Well, you may remember in 2015, she was taught to use an inhaler. And so people were very worried about poor little Mishka because she has asthma.
Oh, no.
She has learned to use an inhaler, and they said she is using it presently during these smoky conditions.
And where does she keep it? Like, I don't understand.
They give it to her.
Here's my question. I said to go and get it. Do you know what that is? Do you recognize that?
It's an inhaler.
That's an asthma inhaler. Does anybody care about me or the floating goat or whatever it is?
What's the floating goat?
What kind of animal is this?
A
an
sea
otter?
otter.
A sea
An
otter,
otter
yeah.
be a sea lion or whatever. Whatever it is, I got an inhaler right here with me and nobody cares.
But
Oh,
the
Danny,
sea
here.
otters-
You can have extra octopus because you know how to use this
There
an
is
inhaler.
I
not
actually
enough.
love that.
Yeah, there's not enough octopus in the world. I'll use it all the time. I'll use it intravenously, and I don't even know how that'll happen.
But the sea otter is cute and likable. As are you, so we should be worried about both of you. Is what
See
I'm,
what happens when
what
you
I'm
fall. You
saying.
have a little case of the Tourette's. The truth just spills out of your mouth. Think like, oh, how can I save this?
No, you both should. We should be worried about the both of you. Is what I was.
I can open a clam
Saying.
with a rock just as well as she can.
And you
Yeah.
hide food in your armpit just like she does.
So is that where she? Well, that's really weird of you, Danny.
I don't know why I do that, but that's it. I do.
But you didn't deny it.
No.
But where does she keep the inhaler? I don't even know how she could use it. Like,
no,
she
one
has
of them little flippers.
Yeah.
She has hands.
She has hands?
Otters have little.
Okay, at most
little
she has
hands.
paws.
Paws, yeah.
Okay.
At best, she has paws. She has flippers that come to an end and look like bumps.
But otters don't have pouches.
They have a lot of extra skin on their belly, and they do hide food in their armpits. So maybe she keeps it in her armpit.
In her armpit. Okay.
Recently, I couldn't find my keys. I'm going to go look there.
In your armpit, Danny.
In Misha's armpit?
Yeah, she ought to be driving my car. I'm not letting go.
It didn't fly the first time.
No, I will. Don't look at me, man. I'll go.
I think we ought to wrap up that story.
Thank you.
And then you win him over to the dark side.
The National Association of Realtors said existing home sales fell again in July because of high mortgage rates and high prices.
So is it time to sell then?
It is time to sell.
That
Everybody
is a
needs to
blatantly
freak out.
Weird, irresponsible thing to say.
Time to freak out, everybody.
Yeah,
Come on.
sell. No. Relax.
It's a buyer's market, and it's shifted pretty quickly. But they said the problem is that, as we knew this was going to happen, but the mortgage rates have started to get higher. And some people have stopped looking because they're tired of the high mortgage rates and tired of the inflated home prices.
All completely true. I was in Los Angeles. Neighborhoods that used to be $600,000 to $1.3 million or $4 are $5 million. Like they just went up millions, hundreds of percent.
And there has to be a ceiling on that. It can't keep going up.
It broke in 2007. I know because I bought a home that year.
They said that they're seeing numbers continuing to fall, and they expect this trend to continue. There was an 8.3% decline in existing home sales in the Northeast and a 5% increase towards the West. That obviously depends region to region, but the South saw the least amount of home sales falling. Sorry.
So I guess
because nobody, as far as I can tell, in the Seattle area, nobody's house fell. You just like, here's your asking price, and now you wait to get it, and instead of going up 10% every month, it went up 4.7. So the some are not escalating at all anymore, and some are escalating in much smaller ways. But your home prices right now are not falling by 5 and 8%. That's not what's happening. What's happening is the interest rates are going up, making it harder for people to buy your house, but your houses aren't worth less.
Well, they're also saying in Seattle that your house is worth what it's worth, but people are not overpaying as much as they were.
Right.
And
Like
there
I
is
did.
more inventory than there was, and houses are taking longer to sell in Seattle. Because you remember for a second their houses would go for sale and they'd be bought by
sell
nighttime.
the same day.
I would see people putting in those signs outside your house that say for sale on them with the sold sign already attached, that they knew it was sold.
Yeah.
Argentine authorities have torched more than 850 pounds of cocaine that was seized from Russia's Buenos Aires embassy. Police say that this cocaine was maximum purity, and it was destroyed at a crematorium after a 14-month investigation. 16 pieces of luggage had been seized from inside of the Russian embassy. $93 million worth of coke.
How do you do that?
How do you what?
How do you seize anything from an embassy? It's
Yeah,
not
how
your
do you get in
country.
the embassy?
Well, this was a little bit complicated, but these were suitcases with tracking devices. Men were arrested when they arrived at the airport to collect the suitcases. Some in Moscow, some in Russia were arrested. So I do believe that Russia there.
But now I'm not hearing embassy this time. I'm hearing they were arrested at the airport. I mean, it's not that big of a deal
All
to me.
of it.
The Russians were trying to smuggle cocaine and got caught at it, is the
Right.
story.
So these are Russians. So they're like, what do we do? Put them in the embassy, take the luggage to the embassy, trying to figure out whose property the people are and who's got the coke. So Russia, the ambassador to Argentina, took part in burning
There we
all
go.
of this cocaine. So this
So,
was
the Russian ambassador was involved in the investigation and stuff.
yes. So Russia doesn't want $93 million worth of coke coming into their country. They wanted to prosecute these dudes as well.
If they own it, they do. I don't know what the Russians wouldn't do to get more money. They're in trouble. We did it. We got involved in the Iran-Contra affair. That was all over cocaine.
Yeah.
The sheriff's office in Arkansas arrested a woman who helped her boyfriend escape from jail by pretending to be a deputy from California. Maxine Feldstein, age 30, was arrested in connection with forgery and helping to facilitate an escape.
This was in Arkansas?
Yeah.
So what they did was they looked for the only person named Feldstein in the entire state of Arkansas.
So this chick, she dresses up, she's got paperwork, and she's like, yeah, I'm Deputy Becky, and I'm here to pick up the criminal.
I approve. I hope he didn't do anything too horrible because I completely approve of this escape.
Yeah,
I mean, the girlfriend is awesome.
Very James Bondish. Yeah, I dig it.
She's got all the documentation. Turns out to be forged. They turn the person over to Becky, and then the real Becky's like, okay, a week later, we're coming to get him. They're like, what?
So he got out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Would this ever happen in your house, Danny? My wife would never break me out of prison. Would Amy break you out of prison?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I believe she would. I believe
Holiday's
she'd shoot the
definitely
guard.
not breaking
Nah,
Paul
she's not
out.
breaking
No.
any.
I
not breaking anybody out, but in me in particular,
Yes.
I think Amy would shoot the guard right in the foot, and we'd all run for it. That's what
awesome,
I think.
man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Amy and Holiday would be having some champagne
No
together.
offense, but when I got busted in 1990 and it looked like I was going to go to jail for 5 years, the wife at the time said, we got to go to Mexico. We got to run. You can't go to jail. Yeah. So
That's
chicks
nice
are
of her.
dying to break me out of jail. Left and right, there's chicks dying to break me out of jail, which thank God because I keep going to jail.
Yeah, I guess I've had less opportunities to test my
Right, to
theory.
find out what you got going on.
You don't always say that much nice stuff about your ex, but that was a pretty nice thing. for
Yeah,
her to
I was
offer.
shocked because it was a real thing. And then I discussed, we're going to have to hide. I'm going to have to dye my hair, shave my head. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. Wouldn't hurt if you put on 20 pounds. You're just too skinny. They'll know it's you. Whatever it was, I tried to talk her out of it to see how much she meant it. And she said, all right, I'm ready, and started to pack
Wow.
suitcases. Yeah. And then she turned out to be just this horrible, horrible woman that was willing to break me out of jail.
A man in China had to be rescued after getting his finger stuck in a vending machine. Now, this has happened before where you guys have put the money in and then the item doesn't come down.
So we shake it.
You
Yeah,
shake
you get
it.
so angry too. It's just like it was $1.
Because it's also so heavy. If you have to
Right.
shake it enough to knock them out, you know what I do? I go to KJR and I say, hey, you big bastards, come help me break stuff. And they do every time.
Well, typically what you guys have needed to get something out of the vending machine, it's a bag of chips or it's
Top ramen, man. Cup of
ramen
noodles.
used to get stuck. Well, in China, vending machines are extremely popular and they sell a wide range of things. This man needed to call authorities to be freed from the vending machine when his arm got stuck trying to retrieve his sex toy.
Right on. Did they hack his arm off?
No, he still has both of his limbs. Unfortunately, he did need help, and no word on whether or not they gave him his sex toy. He did pay for
Paid
it.
for it, yeah.
his, yeah.
Sex toys in a vending machine. Is that what's happening here?
It is.
Is that tomorrow's bit? If you could get anything in the world out of a vending machine, what would it be? Call now?
Yeah, maybe.
And residents in Florida have an unusual choice that many people here wish they would be faced with.
All right.
Which Chick-fil-A to get their delicious sandwiches and waffle fries from, the one on this side of the street or the one on the other side of the street?
They're like right there?
Yep.
I've only seen that with Starbucks.
Yeah, definitely
Where they
seen
have
that.
one right across the street from the other. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And they make a living.
0.1 miles away from each other. They said the reason that it works is that one of them is in a parking lot and the other one is in a mall. So you have to park your car and walk inside and to go to the little food court.
Yeah, the old guys must be going to the one in the parking lot.
And then you got the one in the parking lot that just regular people can drive up to.
Right.
Two Chick-fil-A's 0.1 away from each other. Another food news, restaurant news. A German restaurant named Oma's Küche, which translates to Grandma's Kitchen, has taken drastic measures to ensure adults can enjoy their meals in peace, and it is working tenfold. They have stopped children from being able to eat there in the evening.
Cool.
The owner said,
I
"No kids at
approve.
night."
Because I think it's a German restaurant. Is it in San Francisco by any chance?
It's in Germany.
It's in Germany. Well, then it's not a German restaurant. It's a restaurant. You're a crazy person. They don't have German food there. They have food.
We have heard about this happening in other places, and it does seem to be taking off. That they said the parents aren't watching their kids. Kids don't have manners. and it's very disruptive
All
to people
true.
around them.
All true. They're all little rat bastards.
I want to set this policy at my house so I could enjoy a meal in peace.
Does Jelly Bean not sit at the table, and does she run around?
You know
and
what?
stuff?
She has the ability to have fantastic table manners. She just doesn't choose to use them around us. Like if she were to eat at somebody else's house, they'd be like, wow, she's the most polite person in the world.
All right.
But around us, it's just she's a little monster and just eating with her hands.
See, I
going
picture
crazy.
Jelly Bean sitting at the dinner table just telling jokes the whole time.
Yeah, she does a little bit of that and then just shoves food in her face with her hands.
Gotcha.
You say that like it's so bad.
Use the fork, kid.
Unless it's soup, why do you care?
Because
you can name me the kind. Is it chicken nuggets?
No. Like
what does she eat chicken nuggets with?
Doesn't she
with
eat
her hands?
Okay,
sophisticated
see?
adult food?
Yeah, but she'll eat a steak and potatoes with her hands.
Who cuts her steak?
I have to cut her steak. so she
See,
can pick it up with
then
her
make
hands.
it finger
I'm not
food.
giving her a knife. She's
Back off
7 years old.
Back off this child. She tells jokes on this show. I like her the way she is.
She's great. I'm just saying she's much more polite when she's not around me.
Oh, don't I know?
News is brought to you
I mean,
by...
I don't know. I'm not spending time with you and a 7-year-old when you're not around, but I know what you mean.
Thanks, man.
News is brought to you by Johnson RV. We will be right back with entertainment, sports, and Tori will be talking to us about all the new music in stores. That's next. Well, it is Thursday.
I know what that means.
Means new music will be in stores tomorrow, which is Friday. Lots
Good
going
guess.
on in the music world. What's the story, Tori?
So this week, Alice in Chains played at the Space Needle, also threw out the first pitch at the Mariners game in celebration of their new album, Rainier Fog. So this is their first album in 5 years, and I personally think it's good, but it sounds so much like their last album, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. And here's a bit of it. This is called Never Fade.
I got to agree with Tori on this.
Sounds like Alice in Chains.
Sounds like Alice in Chains, but that's
Yeah.
not necessarily a bad thing. You listen to the first year of the Beatles, and they put out 6 albums that year, I believe. They sounded just like the Beatles. Every record, they sounded just like the Beatles. So I don't normally mind that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry Cantrell's solo work also sounds just like this.
Yeah, and that's cool, because Lane's been gone for how long? In fact, yesterday was his birthday. He would have been 51.
Holy moly.
What'd you get him?
Good wishes.
Well, when I went and saw Chester Bennington's grave, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody got him all sorts of presents. They were all over the place.
I find that strange.
Yeah.
One was a cool guitar, which I played and then got yelled at.
They're also going on tour starting Saturday. So if you want to check them out, they'll be at White River.
Neat.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I know tomorrow being Friday with the new music coming out, a reggae classic. What's happening here?
Yeah, so there's a special 40th anniversary. So this iconic 1978 album features hits like Is This Love and Sun is Shining.
Nice.
The new release is being put together by the Marley family and will feature a double LP. One record will have the original mix, and the other will have a mix done by his son, Stephen Marley.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so Stephen Marley's mix features his father's vocals from the demos, synchronized with alternate takes, and layered over different instrumentals.
Oh, weird.
It sounds crazy, but
Does it sound good?
this is actually it right here.
This the new version?
This is the new version of She's Gone.
I love this song.
Fools have tried, yeah. Wise men have failed.
So it's not crazy out there or anything.
No, but that
It's
electric
neat.
guitar you just heard, ding, 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 right there, that's not in it in the original.
Exactly. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, I like the way this sounds.
Yeah, so you can order this bright green vinyl for a whopping $40.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I see a new project from a rock great coming out.
Yes, so Neil Finn, known for his band Split Enz and Crowded House, and now he's actually Lindsey Buckingham's replacement in Fleetwood Mac.
right.
Wow.
Yeah, he's releasing a project with his son titled Light Sleeper. This is a bit right here.
Okay.
So Liam Finn,
I'd be a pretty heavy sleeper after listening to this. I think.
it is pretty mellow, I will
Yeah.
give it that. But his son says, it would seem a shame not to make an album with my dad, both of us doing the same thing. Let's just do it together like we've done my whole life.
Oh. Oh, that's so nice.
So sweet. And so
Did they call the album "My Kid Has No Talent"?
Oh.
Well, wait. I actually don't know what I speak. Who's the real star?
Well, they both are.
What's the boy do?
Liam Finn opened for Eddie Vedder's solo tour.
What was his? Just to help me. What was his last big hit? Over 1 million copies.
So mean.
Is that? I don't know.
Okay. So the dad called the album "My Son Has No Talent."
Well, yeah, but he's been on tour with the Black Keys as well and Wilco. Many of these songs were recorded in their Auckland studio, and it actually features his wife, Sharon, on bass, which is pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
And Mick Fleetwood on drums for some of the tracks.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. Oh, hell yeah. Liking
Super
it.
cool.
Liking it more.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that he is a New Zealander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that he was a person.
I didn't
I didn't realize he existed.
I didn't realize it was 50 states. I didn't realize he was also not from.
Sorry, Neil.
Seriously. All right, so I do also see something from one of the ex-Sex Pistols.
Yeah, so Glenn Matlock was the original bass guitarist for the Pistols and left the band in the middle of recording Nevermind the Bollocks due to creative differences in 1977.
Were the creative differences the fact that nobody in that band could play except
know,
Steve
right?
Jones?
It's
Steve
true.
Jones could play.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I read his biography. But Glenn Matlock was actually featured only on one track on the record.
So he made money at least.
Yeah, but he has credit for 10 of the songs, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so he definitely made some loot.
Made some dough if they sold.
So he recently recruited David Bowie's guitarist Earl Slick and Slim Jim Phantom of the Stray Cats for his new solo record, Good to Go.
And this is it?
I couldn't find any tracks. He wouldn't release anything, but this is his version of Happy by Pharrell.
Oh, wow.
Oh, let me hear this.
Let's hear that.
Give me all you got and don't hold it back.
All right.
So it's kind of fun.
It is. I like it better than the real Pharrell. I thought that song was stupid. It made me dance. You're happy. That neat. I think when my infant daughter would dance like a crazy person.
Yeah,
But
this
I
is
like
a little
this
more
version.
rocking.
Yeah.
But he says he was inspired by Bob Dylan actually after seeing him at the Royal Albert Hall a few years back. That's weird.
Me. That's my Bob singing it.
But I think most of his music, from what I've heard, sounds like this, and this is the same lineup that will be on the new record. So
Right on.
Well, I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, anything else, Tori?
The rest I will have up at KZOK.com.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank
Some
you.
good stuff coming out this week. In entertainment news, Brendan Fraser has been cast as one of the leads in DC Universe's upcoming live-action series, Doom Patrol. He'll play
Tarzan and the Mummy Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
I like him a whole bunch, but I just thought he was gone forever.
Most recently, he's been on Showtime's show, The Affair. He was also on a show called Condor and on FX's Trust. And this is something in the DC universe. They call them the most eclectic and weird characters from the DC universe.
What universe were the Suicide Squad in?
I can't keep any of that stuff straight. Derek, do you know?
I think that's DC.
Is it DC?
I have
They're
DC
weird
and Marvel.
eclectic. One was an alligator.
I can't
Yeah.
keep them straight.
No, I think that is DC.
Yeah, well, it was weird.
They call him the strangest group of outcasts, and he'll be playing Robot Man.
Okay, sure.
There's also Negative Man, Elasti Woman, Crazy Jane.
Paul's a superhero, apparently. Negative Man. You know what? If you Google Brendan Fraser's net worth, I bet you come up with over $20 million. I
bet he's worth.
I think he hung on to a lot of that Tarzan money and some
okay.
words.
Wow, right on the button. $20 million.
Thank you.
We're getting some more information about the next version of Top Gun, the sequel to the 1986
Can't wait.
blockbuster.
You're my Huckleberry.
We are
Closer.
Get closer, still not the right
But
movie.
closer, because he says it.
We are finding out
Not
that
anymore, he doesn't.
I think he does. He's in this movie.
No, I think he just drools.
It's in Val Kilmer in this movie?
He
Val
is going to
Kilmer
be
is
in this movie, allegedly.
we are now finding out Ed
I
Harris.
doubt his ability to do so.
I think he's going to, I don't know if he's going to call anybody his Huckleberry, but I think he can act.
John Hamm and Ed Harris have joined the cast, and they have started filming aboard the Norfolk-based USS Abraham Lincoln.
Super cool. You're my Huckleberry. That's my impersonation of him today since the stroke.
It's not even a line from Top Gun.
He went to see the Strokes. I'm sorry, I got that
Oh,
wrong.
goodness. The original film back in the day, earned $350 million on a $15 million budget.
And that was in that
86.
day's money.
Yep.
It's got to be $500 million now.
And a long time ago, Kristen Bell used to play a teenage private detective named Veronica Mars. Very successful show.
I didn't know that was her.
Yeah. That was her first big
I
acting
love
gig.
her. I think she's great.
Well, she is set to reprise the role. They are going to bring back Veronica Mars.
She's going to be Veronica Mars's mom, though?
Well, she'll be just grown up Veronica Mars.
They're around age. I mean,
I
not
mean,
you.
She does. She
Baby,
looks
shut up.
super young. I don't know how old
Yeah,
she is in real life.
She's like
but
40 and she looks great, I
she's
think.
really great. By the third season, she had moved on to college, so she wasn't pretending still to be in
Right.
high school after 4 years. So now she'll be right out of college.
After the fourth year of the Partridge Family, I was still 10. Why the hell did they do that? I had talents. I was ready to hand out.
And it's the end of the road for The Big Bang Theory. There were talks for a 13th season, but they have now said, nope, 12 will be the final.
I feel some shame on that show because I always mock it. I've never seen it, but when I change channels and it's on, sometimes they get a word or two in before I'm gone. Almost always funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not watching. I made too much fun of it.
There's certainly an appeal to a lot of people.
My mom loves
Yeah,
that
my
show.
parents do
What the hell does she know? She can't even find her teeth. It's a thing, man.
Yeah, weird that she forgets where she keeps them.
It is. It's a thing. I have to call some weird guy. Say, you see my mom's teeth? I hear she took them out of your house.
Oprah Winfrey has a new line of pizza coming out, and the crust will be 1/3 cauliflower. This is part of her "Oh, that's good" line.
I think Paul and I have comments, but I feel I may have to speak for both of us when I say, "Oh no, we were good."
All the rage cauliflower pizza crust.
Well, she has. I'm going to go with this. She owns Weight Watchers, doesn't she? So it's diet pizza.
It's healthy. It's
Plus,
supposed to be
that's
good for
what the cauliflower will do to you too.
He's right. He's not
I am
wrong.
right.
You are the king of the poop jokes today.
I did not hear a joke there. I heard a declaration of science.
Let's take a look at sports.
Sports.
Brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you are facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY, 1-800-DUI-AWAY. They try to come back. They came oh so close, but the Mariners fell to the Astros 10-7 yesterday. This is a big series, and we keep hoping to beat the Astros, and we keep hoping for the A's to lose. Derek, where are we in the standings?
Currently, we are in third place, 5.5 games out of first.
Well, that's not bad. I thought we got beat out of the top 5 with all these losses, so I'm actually more optimistic than I thought.
An off day for the Mariners today, returning.
Sweet. We can't lose that.
Returning to action tomorrow. And earlier,
Not an easy series coming up either against the Diamondbacks. Arizona
Diamondbacks, that's right. They're battling for first place as well.
Yeah, plus our pitchers have to hit. So,
Oh, that's right, because it's in
National League
Arizona.
rules, yeah.
Whoa. Explain that to me in as few words as possible.
So in the National League, we're in the American League. In the National League, the pitchers have to bat. And so when we
Why
play...
we don't have to bat? We can take the
DH.
field like a player, and we don't have to take a swing?
Just the pitcher.
Oh, I'm not down with that at all. Play baseball or don't.
Well, now they will. This upcoming series.
Yeah,
pitchers
but not
get to bat.
us. I hate because I love me the Mariners and I root for the Mariners. But the Mariner, Fernando Valenzuela or whatever his name is, Felix.
Yeah, Hernandez.
Doesn't have to take. It takes the mound, strikes people out, mocks them for losing.
Correct.
Bada. And then he doesn't have to take the plate.
And what I'm saying is we do when we play the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Oh, because we go by their rules.
Go by their
I
rules,
like that. I had no idea. Thank you. Really, it's a new thing. I didn't know.
Earlier in the show, we talked about Justin Upton, who was embarrassed and had to admit he had cut his finger on a wine glass, landed him on the DL. We are now finding out why Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Aaron Sanchez hasn't pitched for 2 months. He has a bruised right index finger. He is now admitting the real cause of the injury for the first time. He got his finger stuck in a suitcase.
Why are these people so embarrassed about stuff that's totally legal and plausible?
Yeah.
He said he just was embarrassed. He didn't want anyone to laugh at him. And
I've broken my hands half a dozen times, usually doing something stupid, but twice when I was a kid slamming them in car doors. These things happen. Why are they walking around lying about stuff?
It's weird.
You play the great American pastime. That's not lying.
It makes me not believe this explanation
See?
either.
Exactly. I'm with Paul.
Football preseason action continuing tomorrow for the Seahawks, 5 o'clock, Minnesota Vikings.
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll watch because I failed to watch that. I guess I fell asleep that early. I didn't see it.
Wow. Well, tomorrow, Friday,
5 o'clock.
you should be able to stay up.
Well, it's a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Bumps, stay up.
The Sounders are
Not
back
all
in
of us.
action. By bump, you mean bump your chest against your wife.
That's exactly.
Actually, it's a food reference, but I didn't get to it.
Sounders are back in action with a match Sunday against Portland, 6:30. And yesterday, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson took to Twitter to announce their much-discussed winner-take-all match is on.
No way.
Thanksgiving weekend, pay-per-view telecast.
Boxing? They're going to box each other?
I would fight either one of those two golfing freaks.
$9 million goes to the winner, and they will be playing golf against each other November 23rd at Shadow Creek Golf Course in Las Vegas.
Is it a legitimate event? Can I put money on this and not think, oh, it's a gag, they're doing it for a publicity stunt?
No, this is real golf.
Just the two of them playing, or are they in a tournament?
Head-to-head.
And $9 million goes to the winner or to a designated charity? Because they look kind of bad taking the money.
Why?
Well,
They get
normally
paid
you would do
anything.
something like this for charity.
No, you win a game of golf and you win $10 million. That's
Right,
how
when
they-
you play an actual golf
It's
game
a
in
game
a
of
tournament as
golf,
part of
and
the league that you belong to.
I think you might be right.
Not when
I
you
don't
set
like
up
it.
a special event.
I think you should
against
not
your
only
buddy.
take the charity, but go eat at their commissary. I just think it should be for money.
Oh, I was just saying, say it's for a charity and then keep the money anyway. I'm sorry.
There you go. That's my fault.
Speaking of money,
Yeah.
Forbes magazine is out with their list of the highest paid female athletes.
The Rock.
I do not see The Rock on this list. I do see a whole lot of tennis players.
Wow.
It is almost all tennis players, save for number 7, who's a badminton player. And
what?
Danica Patrick is also on the list at number 9. But at number 1, y'all know who's at number 1.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey?
Serena.
Serena.
Those- all
Give
right,
that man a
tennis
cookie.
players, right.
Ronda did not make much money.
But she's done other stuff too, like
She doesn't make much
movies and
money
stuff.
at it.
Yeah.
She doesn't make big
Well,
star
she
money.
should.
Well, it also depends on what they've done for the year. It's pretty amazing that Serena Williams was at number 1, considering she only was in one tennis tournament because she was pregnant and gave birth.
Right.
But she had a bunch of endorsements.
Yep. She was still the number 1 highest paid female athlete. And the number, I got to be honest, is shockingly low, comparatively speaking.
Compared to
Eight-
what?
to men. $18.1 million.
Oh, she's
On
like
the
a
year.
really good punter on an NFL team.
Right, exactly.
And that's your sports, brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Big show coming up tomorrow at 7:50. If you can tell us where Sarah's Beaver's been.
We've got tickets to that Vets concert, Vets
What's
Aid at Tacoma Dome. It's
With
got
Joe Walsh.
Joe
will
Walsh,
be
Doug
there. It'd be
Henley,
pretty cool.
James Taylor.
All those people
No
are
way,
together.
James Taylor? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's not on my thick little
Awesome
sheet there.
show. I just noticed it.
love me some James Taylor.
Yeah, big show.
All right, you guys can win that tomorrow at 7:50. At 7:20, play and put up your Dukes again for a $100 gift card to Duke's Seafood and Chowder. That's just the tip of the iceberg. We got a jam-packed show tomorrow. Don't
Yeah,
ask
we
what
do.
else is happening because I don't know.
I will tell you what else is happening. That's pretty amazing. You know how some people can make a $18 million without even showing up to do their job? My friend Steve Slayton makes $18.2 million and still shows up to work every day like the pro he is. Oh, except yesterday. There's somebody who didn't tell me.
But I think he's in here today.
Connie Cole was here yesterday. And by the way, my friend Steve Slayton looks a little better in a skirt. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, Steve Slayton's going to come in and play a lot of classic rock for your listening pleasure. We should get out of his way, so bye.